Tut mir leid. Entschuldigung.
It's fine. So it looks that maybe we're live. Let's just see.
Yay.
Come on, YouTube, do your streaming stuff.
It looks like it to me.
Yeah, notifications just come through.
Yeah, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another Hangout. Today, we have two different topics. First of all, we are going to talk about Globebusters deleting or make private all of their videos on both of their channels, actually, which came quite as a surprise. And second of all, after that is done, we will take care of a bunch of new letters that I received, which are absolutely hilarious. So with me today, I have, let's start from the right. Rumpus, how are you?
I've dislocated my shoulder and I didn't get much sleep last night, so pretty crap actually.
Okay, yeah, well, we know.
Been there.
I know how painful that shit is. It's really annoying.
Yeah, it's not funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more painful than breaking your arm.
I agree.
Yeah, it'll make a grown-ass man cry.
Yeah, had me going that.
When I was 10, I managed to break 3 bones inside my right foot. And that was not as painful as fucking up my left knee joint a few years later.
You've got a persistent
well,
chronic
the knee is a whole different subject, isn't it?
Knees are the ultimate evidence against creationism, because no intelligent designer would design a joint like that. It's overly complicated. Yeah. It's over-engineered.
I want to know how Gibbons managed to have
difficult to repair.
How did Gibbons manage to have a ball joint in their wrist so they can swing around like crazy? Yet we can only manage to have one in our bloody shoulder. Yet they seem to manage. Although apparently there are lots of them got dislocated shoulders and things. When they come to examine them in the wild, they're all full of broken bones and broken wrists and stretched that.
Well,
it doesn't work so well.
To be fair, you actually have something cool in your wrists.
All right.
You have certain parts of your bones are set up specifically to allow for better tool use, because you can better transfer energy into something you're holding.
Trouble is, I fell off my bike, my mountain bike, about 5 years ago. Put my hand out to sort of break my fall. Of course, I broke a bit of my wrist in there. So yes, I'm breaking all these useful bits. Oh well. Okay,
next one, Micro. How are you?
Well, I'm drinking Elvis juice, so I'm fine.
Okay. By the way, for the people in the audience, that is smoked beer, is what I'm consuming right now.
And Elvis juice. Elvis juice is an IPA that's infused with grapefruit.
Oh, God. Next one, Bo. I think, he muted himself. He's doing something in the background, but whatever. Last but not least, Jared, how are you?
I am doing fantastic.
Okay. No broken bones or anything?
Not anymore. I actually, speaking of the shoulder bit, is back in 2003, I had I tore my rotator cuff in 4 separate places. And you want to talk about realizing the hard way just how important a joint is in your body? Yeah. When you hurt
It's a shame that the guy from Holland isn't there. He would be able to tell us how important the joint is.
But
okay,
you just realize.
I'm not like.
Sorry, Jim, I'm a bit slow at the moment. I'm a bit.
We should just move on. That wasn't even an ugly 4.
Oh, that's quite good. I thought I think that was quite a good joke. I was just a bit slow.
What do the Netherlands and the United Arab Emirates have in common? Their state motto: have gay sex and get stoned.
Nice.
See, that one's better. That one was good. Yeah.
Okay, so first topic of the day: Globebusters. If you
it's very interesting.
This is their primary channel since 2 days ago, I think.
Oh God!
All of the videos are
German.
Gone. Oh no! Auf diesem Kanal gibt es keine Inhalte. So yeah, pretty much all the videos are gone. Pretty much everything is gone.
Well, not pretty much. They are gone. They're not there.
Yeah. So whether they privatized their their videos or whether they completely deleted them, that's something we cannot tell yet. No explanation from their side on what happened. There are actually various hypotheses regarding that. I'm sure you might have heard some of them already. Jared?
Oh, like issues with their logo infringing on copyright, issues with copyright probably in the intro and outro setups that they have, and just a whole slew of issues to even just outright shame from the treatment they've been getting from the documentary release. And
no, you're wrong there. I think
Yes,
it's the least likely one.
I've actually heard a third hypothesis regarding this, which I think is rather unlikely. It's that it's a consequence of the disastrous hangout with Nathan.
No.
I agree, definitely not.
Made Nathan look like a dick.
that they actually deleted their hangout beforehand. Why should they delete the rest of their videos as a result of this?
I see
no reason why that would be valid.
Personally, and I think this is unlikely, but it is an option. I'm hoping that one of them has gone rogue and has decided to take over the channel and just nuke it.
I did hear that from, I think God was on some Nathan's or something, they're saying that Bob has been Skyping people, telling them why he's done it or something, or at least hinting at it.
Oh, when did that happen? That's new for me.
Right.
So why not just do something public if you're not trying to hide anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is third-hand information I'm getting here, but apparently Bob has been Skyping people as to what is going on, or at least hinting at it.
That's definitely an interesting one.
But yeah,
So,
I thought it's got to be.
too.
I mean, I was also amazed at the Globebuster, their logo, the use of the logo. They managed to get it away for so long because the music's so similar, the graphics are similar. They use the same graphics. I mean, I was almost stunned they were able to do that. So
Yes. So there's an immense irony going on regarding this Globebusters logo. Do you know why?
no.
Okay. So the earlier logo obviously was a parody of Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, if you know a little bit about the film, there was actually a lawsuit between the makers of Ghostbusters and an American musician called Huey Lewis. The reason was that apparently Ghostbusters stole one of his tunes that was later used for the song "I Want a New Drug." The reason is that Huey Lewis was apparently engaged by the producers of Ghostbusters to make the score for the film, but he opted out. Yet the beta soundtrack that he used apparently somehow got into the film. It was modified by another musician that had been hired.
Right.
So there's some there was some copyright fuckery going on back then, which is why using a Ghostbusters logo and then getting a copyright strike or something similar for it is extremely hilarious.
And I think that the other theory about the possibility that Bob has Bob accepts apparently that there's some sort of rotating thing going on with his gyroscope, and if he's got to accept that, then does that not raise a fundamental problem for him, so that he could be a bit conflicted, even though he now believes that he believes that the ether's been proved, and somehow this in some way manages to resolve the contradiction. But I would have thought that was a bit of a struggle even for him.
Well, he repeatedly said that yes, they measured 15 degrees of rotation, but to quote him, it's not with what we believe it does. So he thinks that he actually showed that the ether would rotate or something.
Yeah.
Which, like, if his hangouts were still up, you would actually see that. Yeah.
But so what? So he's saying that the ether's rotating, but the Earth is not. Is that what he's claiming?
Something like that. Either the space, for some reason, the ring laser gyro is either able to pick up space rotating. Yes, I was about to say that.
So this non-existent thing is rotating, and this gyroscope, which we can't interact with in any way, is being picked up by the gyroscope, and yes, okay, and then that's the thing. So this gyroscope, which is designed to actually pick up genuine rotation of the Earth, is picking up the rotation of something that doesn't exist and which doesn't have an impact on the Earth at all. This gyroscope doesn't sound like a terribly useful thing then, if that's what it's doing. And the ether's not attached to the rotation of the Earth because. Oh God, no!
Yeah,
There's so many layers of
I
it.
don't really get it either. What point he's trying to make?
Well, and here's the other thing. If it really was the ether or something in that vein, Michelson Morley would not have failed. Airy would not have failed.
But it also means this gyroscope thing would be an absolute useless thing. If it's changing every hour, it's changed position by 15 degrees, and it's not indicating anything is actually happening. I suppose is he claiming there's a correction that's being used for this somehow? You have to add this correction in randomly to be able to use the gyroscope.
Well, I mean, they obviously.
I suppose you could. Yeah, I suppose you could.
They obviously accept that this gyroscope works, right? They obviously
he does accept that. Yeah,
that it is sensitive enough to actually pick up the 15 degrees of rotation, and they actually argued in favor of that in the hangout they had with Nathan.
Yeah, it's a pilot, and so he accepts that it actually does do useful things and has been verified.
Exactly. Yes.
So he accepts that.
It's in continuous use. It's pretty much being tested every day because it's a piece of standard equipment for airplanes.
Yeah, so you'd have thought if he thinks that, then you'd have thought he would think there was a huge market for something for which you didn't have to make the correction. If you could make a gyroscope or some other similar device that wasn't affected by the ether, then that would be a really good thing to have, because then you wouldn't have to put this correction in. Because obviously with a gyroscope that's behaving in this way, it needs to be corrected for to work out where you actually are. And so he must think that this is a very annoying correction. This is an annoying ether thing. It's interfering with the functioning of the gyroscope. Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
Boy is correct in the chat. The mistake is that you're trying to apply logic to Bob Noodle.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys think will happen? Are their videos gonna go back up with the logo changed, maybe, which would support the copyright problem hypothesis, or do you think they are being down for good?
No, I'm like 80% sure that this is a copyright thing, that they have done it proactively, and that their videos are gonna start coming up again.
Yeah, I agree.
With the new logo and stuff like that. Very soon.
Because removing all those logos from all those videos, I mean, to do one video presumably take quite a long time.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, there are two different possibilities here. Either they're being threatened of having their of getting copyright strikes, or they're just gonna get those copyright markings, meaning that all the profit they would make from videos, like ad revenue, would go to the actual copyright owner, which would be whoever.
Or both. Like they might have gotten one, and then like they could have gotten one of the, been demonetized, or that the profits goes to someone else.
Do we not have
then
last
also
time?
gotten like strike, like those aren't mutually exclusive.
Do we not happen last time when they went down or they were off air for a few months due to some sort of copyright issue?
I actually don't remember that. The last time they had something going on, or some major breakdown, was regarding Bilu. If you remember that catastrophe.
I do. But they were off, weren't they off for a couple of months? And they they were off air for a good couple of months, and I assume that was and then they changed the logo. They didn't have they changed the music.
They had a strike where they couldn't live stream for a bit, and that's where they ended up having like a secondary channel at one point for that. So they didn't entirely go away, but what's going on here, they remind me way too much of a cockroach. You really want to get rid of them, you whack them really fucking good, and all they do is scurry away.
Oh, that cockroach. I thought you were talking about Oakley. Because he did something similar after being struck for copyright and losing the privileges to stream on his first channel. He actually made a second one.
Can we stop
just
insulting cockroaches here? Cockroaches are cool. They do cool things. They make their own antibiotics, for fuck's sake.
Well, and they also can run around without a head, which is what Oakley is doing all the time.
well, for a limited number of days until they die of hunger, because insects don't breathe through their mouth.
And even then, it is far more entertaining to call Nathan Slappy McGee and watch him rage.
Don't do it too hard. You don't know where that rage is gonna go.
So Sean yesterday mentioned in his stream with Sly that oh, I can hear myself.
Is your volume going up and down, Geo, as well?
I don't think so. I think my volume should be fine.
Okay, perhaps it's my computer then. Okay.
Oh no, this is getting trippy.
So Bo, I was hearing myself through your microphone, and I'm doing it.
Still doing it.
Okay, take 2.
Okay, while he's trying to figure that one out. Fuck, where was I? Yeah, so do you guys think that they're gonna found a third channel, Globebusters 3?
No.
Globebusters 3 or whatever?
No.
That's gonna
They
come
would
out?
have done that already if they were going to.
Yeah, if they could, yeah.
How does this sound?
Much better.
Test. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Verträger Müller.
Yay!
Nope.
I cannot hear myself. That's perfect.
Okay. Well, hey, when I worked at a radio station, I could hear myself with a quarter of a second delay. But then again, I used quarter-inch tapes, and I monitored instead of actually listening to the live feed. So I'm used to listening to my own voice. Yeah.
And you
But
still
I
haven't
still
committed
hate my
suicide yet?
No. Thanks. Hey, I have a potato in my mouth, just like Micro does. And you know what you can do with potatoes?
Mine's bigger.
Vodka.
Also electricity.
Yeah, not much, but yeah.
So I predict within a week, I think we'll see at least one of their videos return.
Okay.
Well, they might also do them like in batches. I don't think they're gonna do one video at a time and then re-upload them.
Let's just assume that they are pretty much going through all of the videos and just replacing the logos with a new one. This would mean that theoretically they could be able to upload one as soon as it's rendered again.
Yeah, I thought they'd just try and do that do something as quickly as possible.
But there is also the possibility that now, if they're doing that, if we say that they're going through all the videos and replacing the logo, who's to say that they're also not going through them, since they're gonna be going through them anyway, going through them and make taking out the bits where they said something that they've later or what's the word?
Have they admitted to some errors then?
Okay. Yeah, some things like that. I wouldn't put it past them if this is what they're doing.
I would be careful. Remember, they already deleted some of the Hangouts completely, which were, for example, talking about the ring laser gyro experiment. So those are already gone.
Yes, but they might have. It's not like that's the first time they fucked up.
Well, and here's the thing, Micro. If they were really going to go through all their content with that sort of filter, they wouldn't have anything left to put back on the page.
Yeah,
just
but what
intro
they
and
think
exit.
is wrong,
Well,
Jaron.
If we did that, they wouldn't have. They probably can gonna miss stuff.
Oh no, these guys are not genuine idiots. They are scam artists.
These guys are not just idiots. They were designed to be idiots.
Thank for that reference.
I do need to apologize for the background a hailstorm.
No, you don't need to apologize for anything apart from your voice.
These people are stupid. Let's not forget that they believe that the bending of light bending down would cause objects to become.
Well, that's what they say.
Well, they do a great long time. There was one little hangout got about probably 4 or 5 months ago, in which they were showing, along with that Argentinian guy, in which they were going on and on about, well, if light bends down, as everybody in the Globebusters community is saying, then it will cause objects to be further down, not lifted up, which is obviously
I know that's what they're saying, but like that doesn't mean they actually believe that.
Yeah,
Really?
it's a good old question on whether they really believe it or whether they just say it because they want to collect money from idiots.
I would
but how
say
does that
it's the
help them?
latter.
Hey,
But
you
that-
can be sure
By
that if
saying
Jism
simple,
is in there,
Rumpus is
at
actually
least
very
one
simple.
of them
By
is
saying
in there for
something,
the money.
sorry.
Yeah, if Jism is in there, at least one of them is for certain in there only for the money. You know, it was around what, $1,680 a month, I think it was, on Patreon for journalism, but it's down to $1,500 something last I checked for journalism. So
That's a lot per
at
month.
least a good thing. Yeah, but it's less now than it is for, I don't know, a month ago. I can't remember when I last checked.
For a month, that's $1,500 per month.
Yeah, it
He was
was
getting in Patreon.
1,680 from Patreon alone. Yeah.
But of course, I mean, the question is if they're like, if it is a copyright thing and they're going through all the videos to replace the logos and uploading them, like, I mean, I know that takes a lot of time, but like, wouldn't they still be putting up new content?
Well, yeah,
Well,
but they might have been struck. They might not be able to.
Yeah, the sadistic dick flute inside of me wants to think that it's sorry.
Is that gay or not? I can't tell.
I've been influenced by Ragical, the unhallowed, that it's one of them that fucked up royally and just deleted a fuck ton of their videos for some reason, and they're having an internal row.
Yes, that's also what I'm hoping. That this is this is because of some internal disagreement that's where the whole channel has gotten tits up.
No, not even just a disagreement, but somebody fucked up and they tried to hide it. Then they were found out. Then they tried to downplay it, and now there's a backlash like nothing else.
Well, when it comes to fuck ups, obviously the obvious big fuck up was what was shown in the documentary, right? Those two experiments, the one of Bob regarding the ring laser gyro and the one of Jism regarding the laser test. Oh well, lamp test, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. No, that's a different one. Yeah, sorry.
Well, and here's the thing. So Jim has a good proposition that could be going on. Mm-hmm. There could be a split. Jaren stays flat Earth, and Bob goes to geocentrism.
That's what I mean. Like I'm hoping that it's something like this, that they've have some kind of falling out over something, and like now they nuke the channel and will be attempting to go their own ways.
Well, Bob controls the channel. It all depends what Bob has done, and obviously he's the one who has been forced to reconsider this rotation business. So yes, it's possible that he's moved.
Who started that? Yeah, who started the channel, by the way?
They started it together, but the channel is primarily controlled by Bob.
Yeah. So when you say split, it basically just depends on what Bob has done, and he's the one obviously at the center of this. He's having to deal with the fact that he's discovered that the Earth is rotating, even according to his own measurements. So he's obviously got a bit of a problem there. But he does seem to be quite adamant that this ether business is rotating, which...
Micro, I think you saw that one as well?
The Civil War comment?
Yeah, I saw at Marvin Crew. That comment is just brilliant. Thank you very much. That's a good laugh.
But you did say... experiments, didn't you, or measurements? Do they actually do their own?
Well, yeah, they claimed that they did, right? I mean, later, at least Bob said that he didn't do the experiment regarding the ring laser gyro himself.
Ooh.
But if you say that we did it, end quote, then yeah, it kind of implies that you were involved, right?
Well, he did give the name of the person who did do the gyroscope thing.
Yes, it was Richard or Rick.
Rick, yes, could be Rick, yes.
By the way, good news, and I'll just start by saying, unfortunately, we can't see trends on Patreon. The income curve, but currently journalism is at 181 patrons and he earns $1,472 per month. And he used to
how hard was
$1,680.
he hit by the whole people leaving Patreon?
Well, actually, regarding that, I would recommend using Social Blade. It offers better statistics.
Social Blade doesn't touch Patreon, does it?
No,
it only talks about YouTube.
Yeah, but he was like, Bo was talking about how much money.
What the fuck? Actually, wait, I gotta share this because it's just an awesome bug you gotta see. So this is the Social Blade side of Globebusters.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice something particular?
What do you mean?
Something interesting, which is kind of weird.
Downtrend of 188.5% of views.
Yes. How can you lose 108.5% of views?
Simple.
Already being a
that makes sense because it's you take that's based on the
daily average.
Yeah, they have taken the it's because the amount of views they would normally get is lower than all the views they've lost by putting their videos on private.
Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense.
That is how that's how it works. That's why.
And of course, we also have to realize that Social Blade is not in terms of earnings. They are not about actual earnings. They are about they show the projected earnings.
Well, yeah, it's obviously it's estimated. Since they have no official data, they can just take best guesses.
Yeah, and at best, I don't know the specifics, but at best, the view hours, etc., is delayed. I don't know how YouTube shares it, or if it's just a matter of API stuff, or I'm not into that stuff anymore. The coding side of it, but.
So why don't we just completely change the subject and talk about the pop-up letters?
I mean, there isn't really that much to talk about them since it's all just speculation.
So for the 108 people watching the side chat, I actually have a little bit of a survey for you. Type 1 if you think that Globebusters videos are gonna go back up in the maybe slightly changed regarding like the
in some
logo
form
and so on and so forth in the near future, or type 2 if you think that they are staying down.
Oh, how many videos do they have public at the moment?
None.
Micro, you don't count.
1, 2, 3, 4. See, I count.
Okay, so there's a bunch of ones. There's 1, 2, second 2. But it looks like there's more ones than twos.
Very definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And it is hopeful thinking at that point, which I don't blame them.
Yeah, I think it's wishful thinking to think they're going to go away. I'm afraid.
Okay. So I think we pretty much covered all of what we're going to talk about regarding Globebusters. So now for the second topic. I actually got two. That's like 2 letters from Peter Popper.
2 letters.
One I got yesterday, and one I got actually early this morning. Now,
wait. Do they have a date stamp on them? Can we see
they don't.
when they were sent?
The reason why one of them appears to arrive late was that apparently they fucked up my address. There was a sticker on there that they had to guess my address from my name, which is kind of weird considering it's the 4th letter. What?
Arschlochstraße, right? Isn't that where you live?
No,
that's
not
the street
yet.
you live at, is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover the first letter. Well, no, the first letter actually second, and we're gonna cover the letter that I got today first. And there's a particular reason for that. Let me share my screen. Okay, so in the letter I got today, there is this little envelope here. Please open this only after you read my letter. Because we're gonna, because fuck this guy, basically. We're just gonna open this one first. So let me start my webcam.
Oh, you haven't actually opened it yet, then?
No. I have opened the letter that this was in, but this envelope was integrated into one of the letters.
Right,
But I don't actually know what's in here, so
Okay,
we're gonna take a look at that. So see if this works. I hope that you can. Can you guys see my webcam?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just cut
And,
this bad boy open here.
And just a side note, I'm
that's
surprised. I thought they had an office in Germany since he was at least, German born. It was sent from England, apparently.
Yeah, it was sent from England. That's correct. What the fuck?
That was quite the knife opener.
Okay.
And the letter opener.
So there's a what the fuck?
That's just a small knife. What the?
Okay.
Wait a minute. That's a standard trick. Those two cards, isn't it?
What the fuck is this? Peter Popov Ministry?
Yeah, it is.
Compared cards side by side. Which one is bigger?
It is. That's a magic trick you can buy of Pagani from.
They're the same size. It's an optical illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently Popov is now buying into the dark magic.
I'm thoroughly confused. Like, what's the point of this?
Okay, there's not only this, there's also this little yellow envelope over here. Okay. I'm just gonna read
what the
it.
hell?
Okay, it's only one page, so I might be able to share it actually.
Oh, you really need some kind of tripod.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Let me just read this. Things are not always as they first appear. Let me explain. Lay these two identical cards on a table, one above the other. Which one is larger? Now switch places and move the larger one to the top. Smile. See, things are not always as
Wait, is that his version of emoticons?
Wow. Yes.
Gio, I think you should present, because I think it's
amazing.
Actually, I think I am presenting.
You're not.
Presentable. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so Satan, oh God. Satan, here's my point. Satan is a liar, and he can make us think that our problems are larger than they really are.
Gio, there's some people in the chat who are asking who this Popov guy is.
Okay, so Popov is a actually German televangelist who actually sends, you can request letters from his website, and he will send off one of those letters, which you will see in a few minutes. And pretty much he's begging for money. That's all he's doing. And that's how this guy actually makes a living, right? He's a millionaire using the idiots.
You missed the key point. He's busy praying for you and telling you how much you will get money from doing this. It's not just asking for money. He's saying if you give me money, you will get money.
Yes.
Yeah, my theory is that he's trying to come off as a evangelical, but he's actually just a fraudster.
Okay,
and he's not a Christian.
So here's something fun for you. I googled one card is bigger than the other optical illusion just to see what I find. The first link on Google I get is to Living Waters. That's very comforting.
Oh, that's even better. Holy shit. Okay, let's actually read the rest of this stupid envelope thing. Again, Satan is a liar, and he can make us think that our problems are larger than they really are. John 8:44. He will try to use this tactic of making our problems seem too big to get over to discourage us and weaken our faith. Gio, Satan will let you think that God has lost your number and that he's not going to see you through your battle. However, God knows the challenges you faced, the physical battles you fought, and the financial hurdles that you have to deal with. But you will get through this, not somehow, but triumphantly. Brother Gio, I want you to remember this. Some things are not as big as they look. Should I make this joke?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a penis-sized joke. Now, in Jesus' healing and blessing name, fill out the enclosed prayer sheet and enclose your seed gift of obedience. I just sent these two unusual cards to you to make this very important point. Your friend and prophet, whatever this guy. Okay.
Wow, okay, it seems that, like, obviously a few magic shops sells these, but, like, it seems this is really big in like the evangelical community. A lot of the things I'm seeing here has some kind of relation to that illusion.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that's super weird. By the way, it looks like these cards were cut out by hand. They don't look like they are being machined or something. They look like somebody cut them out with a scissor. Because they are not actually identically shaped as dents and bits in one of those.
I wonder if this is the same, like what's going on with that illusion. It's the same thing that's going on within the what's it called? Miller liar illusion or something like that. The one with the arrows where you have two lines of equal length, where depending on what way the arrows
between two bars, you get. Oh yeah, no, that's not. You're right. Actually, no, it's just two arrows. Is it with the arrows? One of them's the arrow at the ends going, and that's an arrow.
Yeah, and one looks longer than the other. I'm wondering if that's the same illusion going on here, just in like a slightly different way.
Probably, yeah. So what I suggest we do is we're just gonna read through this as we do to the other ones. So this is actually just 4 pages. This is actually the shorter one.
Oh, you got something to touch.
Oh yeah, I got one of his cloths that is
freezing.
Like something. Okay, so before we actually start, how much money do you think this guy wants this time? For those in my Discord,
let's see.
Don't actually tell us.
It was $33 last time, wasn't it?
It was 33 euros. But
I'm gonna guess 202 euros.
45.
I shouldn't say anything because I already know for a fact. So
45 euros, I'm guessing.
Okay, so we got guesses of $200 approximately and 45
euros.
So, agreed.
Higher.
Come on, who else is going to guess?
I already know.
Do you? Oh, okay.
I also know, that's why I guess.
Right, so.
You've written it for the audience, but whatever. Then I'm just reading. Geo, before anything else, touch this anointed prayer cloth 3 times.
It totally doesn't have my cum on it.
Yeah. Don't ask yourself any questions. Just touch it 3 times in a row. It's so important. Do it now.
Before anything else, Geo. Before anything else. Don't wait.
At least it's not you don't have to touch it from 3 different axes.
You know, he's going for all the sensations in the visual. We've now got a touching. He's going to go for some smell next, or something that makes a noise. It's trying to impose upon all 5 of your sensations.
Well, does that mean that at one point there will be like a proprioception thing?
Well, I guess, Michael, the last clause would just include some chloroform to fuck up.
Or you're like, is one of them gonna be like some capsaicin or alcohol to mess with your heat?
Okay, the countdown starts now, just 8 minutes to go. So it's currently 20:45 my time. Let's see how much time we actually need. Well done, Geo. I will explain everything now. Forgive me for the sudden beginning, but there wasn't a moment to lose. Yeah, says the guy in the written letter. By opening this envelope and touching the anointed prayer glove above 3 times, you opened and activated an intimate and powerful contact with what? Oh, God. Okay.
It's part of his wank cloth.
God, no. Seriously? Oh, fuck's sake. In just about 7 to 10 minutes. Oh, no, it's 10 minutes. Okay.
It's not Peter Popoff, it's Peter Jagoff.
You will see before your very eyes the beginning of a true miracle that will change your life, especially your emotional life and your finances. Quickly read on without stopping right to the very end. Put aside everything you had planned to do and listen for the next moments as the Holy Spirit speaks to you.
I don't care that your grandma's having a heart attack. Read!
And above all, do not think for yourself.
Jared, do you want to read?
This morning, as I was holding you up in my meditations and prayers, God gave me an incredible vision. Everything God showed me concerns you. Yes, you personally.
And then I came.
Yeah.
At this point, we just have to point out that this is obviously a pre-printed thing. There's actually a website that documents all of
Yes.
this, and I'm pretty sure we could find this letter over there as well.
Yep.
Probably. You were walking in a very dense and very dark forest all by yourself. It looked like you were trying to clear a path through the heavy vegetation. It looked like you were trying to go down this path, but you really didn't know where it was going to take you. But nothing could stop you. You were completely determined and just wouldn't give up.
I just want to say, walking forests in my area is probably a bad idea, especially when going off the paths, because
It's
they're
full of mines.
full of
Just
holes,
to make
one or
sure you
two,
didn't mishear that, he said vegetation, not vegetation.
Yeah. So yeah, don't leave the path, so you're gonna get blown up if you're lucky.
It's full of old World War II bombs and stuff.
As you walked, it got hotter and hotter, and oh my god! Wow!
I don't even want to say Frederick because no.
Yeah, and the humidity became more and more oppressive. Dude, crazy.
It got all like hot and steamy
and wet.
Oh my
Creepy ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just talking to an older audience that isn't just like as fucked in the head as we are. Well, they are fucked in the head, but
hang on. Your walk became harder and harder.
I just want to say that the letters L and N are quite close to each other on the keyboard.
Yeah, right. As if it was by mistake.
I've just typed in that you were walking a very dense and very dark forest all by yourself, along with a Google search on that with pop-off, and nothing came up actually. So perhaps it is unique, Joe.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Maybe it didn't pop off.
They just published pictures of the letters in the same way that I did. They just didn't like scan it in, they just scanned it in. They just like didn't type it in.
Well,
so
hey,
it's sort of
for public health, make sure that it is in fact in there already. If not, make sure to upload.
Well, yeah. If not, obviously, I'm gonna send this to them.
Yeah, put the link in the internal. By the way, you can check.
I really hope that he didn't accidentally like publish all like some of his like personal fan writing. Like this is some weird ass slash fishing he sent you.
I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole.
What about a 10-foot deck?
No, because I don't measure things in feet. I measure things in scientific,
So you're saying you don't want a 10-foot deck?
Okay, guys, we need to hurry up.
Gio, does he know what you look like? Because apparently he could see you. He could see you in. He could see you in this dream. So obviously he knows what you look like.
Okay. But nothing could stop you. An inner force seemed to guide you like an instinct that made you keep going and act no matter what. It really hurt me to see you suffer this way, filled with a desperate kind of energy, which made you keep going and act no matter what. You kept moving forward and just never would give up or turn back. You refused to give up.
I have a feeling that like this feels like we are having a look into his mind that he's projecting.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, Rumpus, it's your turn to read. Maybe 2 paragraphs.
Okay. Then, all of a sudden, in the middle of this extraordinary vision, I saw myself. I appeared next to you. So he does know what you look like. I went up to you and held out my hand. Surprised at the beginning, you took a step toward me and you immediately grabbed my hand. He's seeing you. He's definitely seeing you, Jim.
If this does happen in the future, I think I need to buy fresh rubber gloves.
When you did, the roof of the forest opened up. Light suddenly came flooding in and a beautiful blue sky appeared. Then a miracle took place. The trees filled with fruit, each tree radiant in the sun, loaded with golden apples, just waiting to be picked.
Wait.
Is it really a miracle if it's in a dream?
There's 2 things about this. First of all,
an apple tree.
Guys, all the forests in this area, all the forests in my area are actually like pines and spruces and this kind of thing. So the only thing that I could harvest from them are pine cones.
And also take note, these are not just apples; these are golden apples. He
Someone's
underlined
blinking.
it. Very important. Dun, dun.
Wait, I thought he was a Christian, not a Norse pagan.
Well, he's a fraudster, so I don't even think he is.
Well, like
religious in any way.
Norse, like golden
Except for the
apples.
green.
Golden apples is like a.
He says it.
Norse
I've just
mythology.
seen you. He says there.
So he sees me when I'm sleeping. He dreams while I'm awake. He doesn't know if
He knows when you are sleeping.
so I
He
should
knows
good for
when-
goodness sake.
No, just no. Don't you dare compare Santa Claus to this man.
Well, he
Santa
kind of
Claus-
the only difference being is that he actually takes money.
Santa Claus
knows
is a
when
good,
you are
honest,
good or
hardworking,
bad.
mythical figure. This man is a real asshole.
Yeah, he's an ass dick flute kind of guy. No,
An
yeah,
instance
well,
of big flutes.
kind
Okay,
I think that's just called a dildo.
okay, Bo, it's
Oh,
your
that's
turn.
Riley.
lady.
Bo, it's your turn to read.
Yeah, sorry. Where were we going? Oh, yeah.
Starting with I knew.
Yeah. I knew in my heart that in this vision I had just seen you, and I joined in agreement together. And I
What?
joined in agreement. Like, wait a
You
minute.
and I joined in agreement. It's like
Yeah, I had
Is
just
this
seen you-
conjoined? Is this?
I had just seen you, and I joined in agreement together.
No, you're reading it wrong. It's I had just seen you and I joined in agreement together.
Yes, Michael's right.
Okay, so this is either very, very, sexual innuendo, porn stuff, or it's.
It is no matter. It matter not he intended it to be. That's what we are gonna turn it
Well,
into because
considering
we're off.
that this guy is kind of a Christian priest, I guess it's just porn.
Well, he's not
Yeah.
Catholic.
So
As we agreed, the clouds were swept away, and everything you were involved in became fruitful.
This seems like that. Like this seems like what something like a teenager writes, in, like about like when they're dreaming about their first love. It's not just me. That's what this seems like, right?
He adores you, Gio.
Yeah.
I
Incredible
think you've gotten a boyfriend.
transformation! Exclamation point.
actually, it's incredible youth transformation.
Youth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just take a look at how that's written.
How many pages are there? How much more of this do we have to put up with, Gio? This trip?
Robert, this letter is only 4, but the other letter is actually 10 pages.
Oh God! Do we...
No one's forcing you to be here.
Yeah, I go.
Actually, I am.
There's a limit to what I can tolerate. I think. My adult
I
state.
know you've been battling oppressive spirits. He's talking about some of the bad beer or something.
No, yeah,
That
that's mean
smoked
too.
beer, yeah, that bloody. smoked
For
beer
the last few weeks, that battling oppressive spirits really sounds like a euphemism for alcoholism.
Okay, so that's a story I have to tell. During like New Year's Eve this year, a friend of mine said that, well, 2018 to 2019, a friend of mine said that
Yeah, so
he
that
had
would be
never
last
been
year.
actually so strong ethanol that it completely fucked him up. So I gave him some spirit that I had lying around with 79% alcohol, and he drank almost 200 or 300 milliliters of it.
So he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's a complete idiot. We had to drive him home because obviously he wasn't in any.
He must have.
He slowed back down without diluting it.
How was his first of January?
I don't know.
His chemical burns on his sarcophagus.
You don't
don't
get
know.
burns from
Sorry,
alcohol.
on his.
You don't get burns from alcohol.
The thing
The
is,
reason alcohol burns is because it messes with the one of your heat receptors.
he became really friendly for a sudden and was saying he was sorry about my recent loss, which is kind of untypical for him. But whatever.
The kind of what I would call life legal in Danish. I don't even know how to translate that. Yeah.
Okay. So where are we? Micro, continue, please.
I saw fatigue. Oh, sorry. You've made some progress forwards, but as opposed to making progress backwards, but it has been very difficult. I saw fatigue and discouragement settle in, but you refused to quit. Then I saw Discord. Oh, he's very modern, despite sending letters. And a position from people who were very close to you. Instead of lending a helping hand, these people, family and so-called friends, became a hindrance to you and a source of even more discouragement. I'm guessing this is meant to...
You hear that, people? You can't trust your friends and family.
I'm guessing.
Trust me.
I'm guessing this is in there because, like, if in case anyone has like told you that, you probably shouldn't be sending money to this guy. Like, it's probably a scam. That's why this line is in there.
Exactly, it's to preempt criticism from other people. Yeah. And it's horribly cultish, isn't it? The first thing that cults do is to try and detach people from their close friends and family. It's the first thing you do. Make them sow suspicion with them. This is just awful.
Obey.
The truth is only the truth in here.
Hello, Diore.
Okay, who wants to continue? Richard.
Yay.
Joined, so I think it's your turn.
I have no idea what this is all about. Is this about a cult of some
Okay,
kind?
so Richard, if you don't know, I actually volunteered to be sent letters from this televangelist, and we just read them and make fun of them. Because why not?
Peter Popoff is his name, Richard.
Yeah, I tell you one thing. I do agree with you, Rumpus. You know, when this kind of thing becomes a divide between people's families and stuff, just because of an overzealous belief.
Yeah, it's a desperate attempt to separate you from your. It's a start. It's the first part of a wedge into getting you between the sensible people in your life.
Between you and your money.
It's not that difficult. This is about getting getting you disattached, or what do you want to call it, from your money.
Separated. Yeah.
I think I'd be a cult's worst nightmare because I think too much.
Okay, who wants to continue?
Yeah, where did we come to? I can continue.
We're at the bold.
Or bald. Here. This is when I had to take action on your behalf. God brought us together. I know this. It wasn't an accident. And here is the word God gave me for you.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Yeah, things aren't always as they first appear. I know.
Micro, I just opened the bottle of the other beer that I was talking about. This stuff tastes like honey, like somebody smoked honey.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It's awesome.
Honey.
Alcoholic honey. That sounds wonderful.
Alcoholic honey is just meat.
Gio's got
Bier Brauerei Spezial 96052 Bamberg, Obere Königstraße 10.
Yeah,
Gio seems to like smoked beers. I can't believe that. I hate smoked stuff.
Oh no, smoked beers are amazing. It's like drinking liquid salami.
Oh god.
I'm with Micro here. Mead, water, honey, and yeast. Yes. Nothing more.
Hey,
that's how you make alcoholic honey.
Hey Rumpus, have you been to Belgium?
No, I haven't, but I have tried lots of beers that have got smokiness in them. I was going to a beer festival recently, and
twice. Didn't end up well.
Right. Well, why should I have been to Belgium?
No, I got that joke, and I wish I didn't.
Do they specialise in smoky beers then, Bo, or something? Who was asking me about smoky beers? That was Bo, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, going to Belgium.
No,
that was Richard.
That was me.
Oh, Richard. Oh, right. Yes.
I'm just saying. The reason why I say is because they've got so many beers over there of various different kinds.
Well, they are the beer capital, as far as I'm concerned.
No.
Well, Germany, Bavaria, and
I mean, there is a lot of different beer traditions around Europe.
That's true.
Well, when it comes to sheer brewery density, Upper Franconia is the record holder.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, where it started, well, that was in. God damn it!
I mean, the first things that could be considered beers were the earliest examples we have of those were brewed in Africa. So.
Well, they had the Egyptians had it, the pharaohs. There was a recipe, wasn't it, that they got from there? They
6,000 or 8,000 years ago. Yeah.
Guys, I think we have to continue because otherwise we're not going to
get through. This is much more fun.
I'm just going to continue.
The history of beer is so much better.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Yeah. A lot more
I know from where you're at right now, it looks like you're facing impossible situations. The enemy has made you feel like you're all alone and surrounded by hostile adversaries.
I'm going to come and save you. Right, jolly good.
Hostile adversaries.
That reminds me of something that happened in 1942.
The enemy. What the hell is that? Who?
But
Where did
I
this
want you
come
to know
from?
that the Holy Spirit alerted me to stand with you. The Lord showed me the fruit that is just waiting to be harvested as we join together in prayer and agreement. As we touch and agree now, many amazing miracles will be birthed.
Yeah, that would be.
This is all text.
For the amazing miracles, I'm waiting.
For a long time.
I like the idea that it has to specify that it's amazing miracles, like as opposed to what mundane miracles.
Well,
like aren't miracles amazing by definition?
yeah, but they can be small scale.
No, I don't care how small scale it is. If something happens that like blatantly violates the laws of physics by the action of a deity, that's amazing, no matter how small it is.
Well, the scale, it's a spectrum. There's a gamut of miracles, I think, going from, I don't know, speaking ant to, I don't know, the skies parting and something dropping out of it or something.
No, that's boring. Just manifest yourself. If you're a deity, just manifest yourself as a 300-meter tall guy.
Well,
go to New York on 9/11 and just gently pick those planes out of the air and set them on the ground.
I do want to highlight this enemy thing that he's just introduced in that paragraph before the one we can see now. This is quite a really... You can see all the tools they're using here to get into your mind and pick on vulnerable people.
Can I say the next?
Really horrible.
Trying to do that.
Can I say the next paragraph?
Go right ahead.
I also it's the third paragraph. No, the fourth paragraph.
Yes.
The one starting with I. I also saw how you felt like you were being overwhelmed by the forces of the enemy.
Oh, good.
Like nothing was working out the way you had planned, and you were all alone. But I want to tell you that you are surrounded not only by prayer power, but you are also surrounded by angelic forces. That's right. Warrior angels are standing all around you to guard and protect you from evil assaults and liberate you from all your most difficult situations.
Wait, stop.
Why is that written? Like,
those are warrior angels. I thought those were SS troops.
I'm really expecting him to at some point just start writing out the lyrics for Hello Darkness, my old friend.
I hope I said that all right.
Can't remember, Mad World, I think it's called. Can't remember the name of the actual song.
I hope that came out clearly. Okay.
That was fine. Yeah, that was fine.
Please continue.
When Elisha's servant was filled with fear, and he told Elisha that they were surrounded by hostile troops and that the situation was hopeless, Elisha prayed, opened the eyes of quickly tripped. No, I wasn't done reading. Oh, that's the wrong page.
Now it's, well,
there. Open the eyes of quickly read on page 3. That's a weird Bible verse.
You have to continue. This is actually still the same paragraph.
Okay. My servant, so that he can see that on our side there are more than on the side of the enemy. Believe me, Gio, there are more on your side than there are on the side of the enemy. Remember, things are not always as they first appear. After you finish this letter, I will share something with you that will help you to understand what I said even better. That assumes that you understand what the fuck you're saying.
Well, his core message seems to be things are not always the same.
But don't open it yet.
That's too late. Fuck you.
You can't open it until Christmas Eve. Or morning. I guess it's...
Is anyone seriously not going to open it?
Yes, a lot of people are seriously not going to open it until he tells you.
Well, remember the first time we did this, he actually told me to not open something at all and just to send him the envelope back, which I obviously didn't, and it contained a weird piece of rubber.
You ate something, didn't you? Wasn't it something you had to eat?
Well, that wasn't the first letter.
The first letter actually contained this piece of eraser with with a vase on it that never ran out of oil or something.
How about sending him a used condom or something? Make sure it smells bad.
I think G has already thought about it. I think.
He does say that we should send him our seed, so
Yeah, that was a theme of a previous hangout. Yeah,
he did say seed money, didn't he? Or did he just use the word seed?
it's code for money. Yeah, it was money that he was asking for.
Seed could have
But he called it a seed.
Exactly. I mean, I'm the pedantic here. Well, okay, Micro as well. But
yeah, I was about to say you're one of the pedantics to be pedantic.
Yeah. If he says seed, go for it, because you won't be dishonest and disgusting by doing it. Because
he did send me a cloth, didn't he?
Yeah.
to wipe it off.
To be fair, that cloth was rather small to wipe off your dick. Like,
well, that depends on your size.
He did specify that when he's referring to seed, he's referring to the money that Gio was going to send. He was going to seed his future prosperity.
Why don't you just put on dollars and pound signs and?
Well, because he's so much now. That's too gross. It's obviously much nicer. This is why in casinos they don't give you real money to play with. They give you little plastic tokens so that you don't realise you're spending money. Here they're just using the word seed because they don't want to be quite so vulgar. They don't want you to be thinking about
I also
money.
think in the casino, to be fair, in the casinos, I also think it's because chips are a lot easier to like handle and move around than notes.
True.
And also they specifically make sure that you can't see daylight or no light from the sky, as well as no clocks are visible, to make sure that you don't realize
it's the IKEA effect.
I never go into casinos. I just know for the fact that I'd be compulsive about it.
Wait,
you want there often, but I don't use money.
You want to watch that, Richard?
Somebody is just asking us something. Have you seen the Bible that drips motor oil? No.
Fuck on toast.
Why would you say that, Rumpus?
Well, if you just said you've got a compulsive disorder where you get easily compelled to do things.
No.
I was just saying it can become compulsive. And
so I thought you said if you went in there, you said you would behave in a particular way.
No, maybe sometimes it can get quite easy to get into that kind of and before you know it, you end up right.
Well, you described your own. You described your own susceptibility, so I was just warning you. If you're aware of your susceptibility, make sure you don't get in a position where you're.
I think that's literally what he was saying, that he knows about it and is not gonna do it.
No,
but
well, he said
he doesn't have ludomania.
Well, no, he said if I went in there, so I was a bit worried for him.
Yeah.
Next paragraph.
I know how to keep myself safe from that kind of thing.
Really good.
The Holy Spirit directed me to come to you at this moment with a word and powerful faith that will release 3 powerful and life-changing miracles into your life. You are on the edge of a miraculous turnaround right now. Don't miss out on this. You have only a few moments to take action. I was instructed by the Holy Spirit to send you the prayer cloth attached to the top of this letter and have you touch it 3 times. Each time you touched it, a divine miracle was birthed. Now your dry, barren places are about to blossom and become fruitful and bring forth an amazing natural harvest.
Is this just a great lesson in wishful thinking?
Is this God?
Yes.
Here are 3 miracles that began when you touched the anointed prayer cloth. Okay, so 3 miracles. Let's see. The first time you touched the anointed cloth, a powerful wealth and prosperity anointing was released that is even now flowing to you. When our faith is united in complete agreement, nothing will be able to block and interfere with the fulfillment of our prayers. I didn't feel anything of that. The second time you touched the anointed prayer cloth, a powerful healing anointing was released for you. Do you already feel a bubbling up of energy around you?
I'm just feeling material.
The tingling anointing will very quickly restore your energy levels so that these current difficulties will be transformed into nothing but bad memory. From now on, you will experience truly miraculous, extraordinary events. So I must say, I kind of feel a bubbling sensation. That's probably diarrhea. And that's because I'm talking about you.
The real beer.
That's that smoky beer of yours again.
Well, it's not that bubbly. It's more like a.
I mean, as I said in the chat, this is the weirdest jerk off instruction video I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I cannot tell that that's also true for me.
I'm just too cynical. I think I'm just too cynical for all this. To even take any of this
Have
seriously.
you met us?
Sensible. I think
The reason
sensible
why
would be
we're
the word.
making fun of this is because we're cynical.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're sensible.
I think, Jared, it's your time to read.
Aw, but why?
Because it's your time to read.
All right,
By the
which
way, is
part are we
it
at?
possible that I'm a little bit on the silent side in this hangout?
No, not at all.
Okay.
All right. So the third time you touched it?
Giggity.
Yeah.
Come on, Jared, put some feeling into it.
Oh,
Well,
dude.
No, don't.
Before you
Oh,
continue,
okay.
I just
No,
want to say
remember, Jared can do this sort of evangelical feeling thing. I don't want to be subjected to that.
before we continue, I just want to say after the third time, I'm usually all bruised. So no.
The third time you touched the anointed prayer cloth, you released angel. Hang on.
Sorry.
I have to move this chat window a little bit. There we go.
Oops, I should
Yeah,
probably
make me
close
room
Steam.
more.
You've released angels to form a protective hedge of divine protection around you and everything that is yours. Dude, fucking
That's called-
punctuation. Use it.
It's called Bukaki. Get over it.
Oh man.
You are about to experience some of the most amazing and fulfilling emotional moments of your entire life because
amazing
new peace, joy, and harmony will fill your house. You will meet people who will make your heart sing.
Okay, so if this guy apparently knows me, why doesn't he know that I live in an apartment and not in an entire house?
Well, you do live in a house. It's just that you're not using the whole house for yourself. I mean,
Yeah, well, it depends on how you define this, but whatever, that's okay.
That was
Now
very
let me ask you, after following prophetic leadings in direction, don't you feel energy bubbling within yourself? Don't you also feel a form of impatience that provokes a sudden nervousness within you that you can't really explain or contain? Haven't you started thinking about the deep desires of your heart that, well, you have to put on the side? You'll also notice that certain people will want to get closer to you in the days just ahead. But the most striking sign you will experience is the deep conviction that will rest in your mind, that will tell you that your life is about to go through some amazing transformations. All of these signs, which you are now aware of, predict a strong period of dazzling success and divine blessing.
Oh, now it turned into period sex.
And this is exactly what you are on the verge of experiencing in your life. An exceptional period that will cover you with a thousand. That will cover you with 1,000 rich lines for the rest of your wonderful life.
Yes, I can feel the positivity already overflowing.
Oh, the positivity. Cover me in it.
Yeah, let's just call it positivity, shall we?
I just call it wishful thinking, but
Okay.
It's no. The correct word is liquid applause.
Oh God.
Pause?
Okay, Bo, it's your turn.
As in water hammer? I know what that is,
No.
but that's hydraulics. Okay, and remember, this is only the beginning. Yeah. What? Hang on. Did I mute? No, I didn't.
No, it's more that like technically the penis is hydraulic. It's a hydrostatic
By
organ.
the way, Bo, I did invite R&D. He just didn't join.
Oh, I've sent him the link also.
You know what? He was the smart one. He knew what was coming.
Coming.
And now so do we.
I didn't. And I
you
didn't.
must get the anointed prayer cloth back to me so I can also touch it. Ugh, 3 times. Why 3 times? I thought 7 was the magic number in the Bible.
3 is a magic number too.
Oh, hey, wait. 3 is a magic number. Yes, it is. No, that's a commercial. Sorry. Only when we touch and agree together does God promise that it shall be done. Matthew.
I would like to direct everyone's attention to Dora and Ku. I'm not sorry if I mispronounced that name. In the chat. Popov demands strawberry.
Yeah.
Strawberry. Dora and Ku. Popov demands a strawberry.
Yeah.
You must cut down the biggest tree in the forest. What? A herring.
Then I am led to burn the cloth on my altar so that no cloth gets the glory. No, come on, seriously? I am led to burn the cloth on my altar so that no cloth, and cloth is underlined because that's very important apparently, gets the glory for your amazing transformation and good fortune. Right. Only the Lord Jesus fucking Christ, I think that's his middle name, who is the author and the finisher of what?
Finisher like in Mortal Kombat or something?
It sounds like Jesus Christ is about to finish us off.
I've heard my little sister saying, who is Jesus Christ, who is the author of our faith in her sermons, but I've never heard her saying the author and the finisher. You will die.
Introducing the finisher.
What do you mean by your sister said that? Is she a priest?
Yeah, he's basically the rest of Poe's family is religious, and he's the weirdo.
Oh my God! You have my blessing. You have my blessing.
All but one of my nearest family are pastors in the Salvation Army.
So, my God, you poor soul.
No, there is no God except me. Bah. And
souls don't exist.
The only souls I have is the two I walk on when I have my boots on.
Well, no, even if you don't have it, but your feet also have souls.
Yeah, but that's more like callous. I mean,
no, like the bottom of your feet is also called your soles. Like it's not only when you have shoes or boots on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Micro. Now it's your turn, I guess. So you please continue.
From where? Wait. I'm so busy making stupid jokes.
Yeah, before I close stuff.
There we go.
Before I close, let me say one thing. ... Don't come before God with empty hands.
But of course not.
That would be bad.
Of course.
God demands a robbery too. Sow a seed of at least 32 euros.
There's a standard price on this?
Yes. When I burn your cloth after I touch it, the smoke will rise along with the sacrificial gift you sow. Wait, so he's gonna burn the money?
No, he's gonna burn the cloth. Actually, I want to make a beer out of that smoke.
No, is he gonna? He's saying the smoke is gonna rise along with the sacrificial gifts. That means he's gonna burn the money, or at least like send it off into the wind.
I think you are right.
Hold on.
You're sown as a sweet savor up to the throne of God, and your gift will move God. Which is apparently a thing. I thought he was supposed to be like omniscient. Your seed faith will release a strong period of dazzling blessings for you and this ministry. I'm nice that I like that he's not even shy about the fact that it's also gonna help him.
Or the feeling you've just wasted 32 euros.
Yeah.
Let me alert you once more. ... If you act on your faith now, and we come into total agreement by touching and agreeing, you will sense astonishing changes.
Treat.
Well, this sounds like a treaty you make with a prostitute. I'm not talking out of experience here.
The air around you will seem lighter. Oh no, the pressure's dropping. We have a leak, everyone. There's a leak in the dome.
We're dying.
You should feel more serene than usual. That's the alcohol. You could, but it's not absolutely certain. Receive a sign from heaven.
No, I'm dying.
Hearing bells ringing, a bird flying close. Wait, a bird flying close to you. That's not a miracle. Like hearing bells out of nowhere would be okay. That would at least be impressive. But a bird flying close to you?
Imagine these birds being bats, because they are obviously bats, according to the Bible.
Metallica song about this.
Birds fly close to you all the time if you live in the city. I literally almost get hit by pigeons every day.
I actually have got hit by a pigeon while I was on my bike.
Well, have you ever gotten
What's it? But hang on,
have you ever gotten hit
bomber
on by a
pigeon?
Have you ever gotten hit on by a pigeon?
No.
Maybe not.
A flying rat? No, thank you.
No. Stop that. Both rats and first of all, using rat as a negative thing is stupid because rats are amazing and so are pigeons. Pigeons are awesome.
They spread disease like no other.
So do humans.
Animals. Yeah, but not compared to that.
Can we finish this page so I can actually show you how much money?
No, I want to talk about pigeons. Sorry. That will confirm that I have what I've just shared with you. I believe you will feel great energy and joy invade your body. That sounds like a way. Is it really invading if you're asking God to let it into you, your body and mind, and it will never leave you? It's a parasite. You and this ministry are on the edge of many miraculous and extraordinary events. You may not realize it, but
sorry.
You may not realize it, but you're making an eternal difference to my bank account.
Hold on, not just eternal difference.
7 minutes
eternal difference. Space exclamation point. Very different. Yeah.
That's it. 7 minutes have passed. I'm fairly certain that's not. It's taking more time.
Actually, it was 38 minutes, but whatever.
He's using Microsoft Minutes, so we're good.
Now step into God's divine rhythm.
Oh God. Okay, so this is actually the letter where you can say how much money you want to spend.
I'll put myself down for 0.
Okay.
No. 5 zloty from the 80s.
Okay, let me read this entire thing. Yes, Prophet, I want to stand in complete agreement with you for many miracles in 2019. Let's stand in total agreement for many miracles in the
days.
Days
just ahead.
Days just ahead. Matthew 18:19. Check.
Again.
Yes, I want to receive all the blessings you saw coming to me in 2019. I feel especially led to intercede with your loved ones and family during the next 21 days. Will you join me in agreement? I am returning the prayer cloth you sent me after touching it 3 times as you instructed. So we can stand together in total agreement. Brother Gio, I am led of God to mention 3 amounts. The Holy Spirit will confirm one to you. One is 202 euros for your double portion.
Right.
The second one is 102 euros for your greatest harvest of return. The third is for 32 euros for the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Please, if there is no way you can obey God with one of those amounts, enclose no less than 22 euros. Your step of faith offering. Gio, when I get your response, I will send you your double portion package of total life increase. What the fuck this is supposed to be?
Hold on. Total life increase. Okay. Standard package of total life increase versus double portion of.
Isn't that just a greater healing potion?
Or is it the twice the amount of infinity?
No, like that's just like the level 2 version of a healing potion in a video game.
Well, hey, the last time I played Doom seriously was in the 90s. So nah. No, wait.
Okay.
20.
This is God's divine plan for your 2019 increase. I'll also send you the secret formula to activate all its power. Check here, please. 202, 102, 32, and 22. There will be only There will be only benefits and victory for you.
Oh, so you don't have to pay anything then, because there will only be benefits and victory for you.
This guy's not gonna get a single cent, obviously. Okay, so this was 1. And Micro was obviously correct since you already knew the answer. And he spoiled it because he's a Danish asshole.
No, it's because I want to win.
Okay, so Rumpus, what do you think? $200.
Yeah, that's 200 euros. Yeah, that's quite something, isn't it? So, have you responded at all to? Because this is the 3rd or 4th set of letters you've received from them.
No, I have not. I tried to send one back to him, but the post wouldn't take the free post stamp.
So didn't he mention in some of those letters that he'd already responded to something you'd done previously, or I can't remember now whether.
Of course, he hasn't.
Right, because I was just wondering. Right, okay, so you obviously you set them off, identified yourself, and now they've sent you 4 letters as part of this process, right? Without you having sent anything back, so they're still right. Okay, so they think you're on a journey now, and you're on the 4th part of this journey, which involves sending them €202. God.
Yeah. Have we heard from Alan yet? Has he received any?
Yes, he's received a couple of things.
3 letters, and I think he has shared 2 of them with me. The 3rd one I haven't seen.
Lovely.
Okay, so let's just continue with the other letter. That's the one I got yesterday. This one is a little bit longer, 10 pages. So what we're going to do is we're going to read it page by page and then talk about the entire page.
Hey, Rumpus, what could you have possibly used the £170 for?
I am just going to share this screen. Jared, can you read it while I'm taking a piss?
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah. Here comes the pentagram.
There we go.
Or the Star of David.
Yeah, I was about to say, you like as the name suggests, a pentagram has the word like penta is 5. Like it's 5-sided. It's literally in the name.
Hold on, haven't we seen this letter before? Isn't this the same letter we had last time with the pentagram?
Yes, it is. It's the same one that Alan got.
Right. Yeah, for £170, I could have a flight over to see Geo. I could take him the water from Popoff's thing or something and take it myself to him.
I think rather than give it to him, I'd rather burn it myself.
I wasn't thinking of giving the 170. I could have a little trip because Geo lives near the. He's been telling me all these things about Francophonia, and I think I went to Germany a few years ago.
Yeah, Franconia,
sorry, and then we he's all this, and he's intrigued me now with all his Nuremberg, given the fact he lives near Nuremberg and all these little sites.
Not near it. At this point, he practically lives in it.
Indeed, yes.
Like I know, he technically lives in another city, but it's been swallowed by the other city.
I'm back. By the way, I think is this the same letter that?
Yes, it is.
Last time. So I don't think that's a reason to go through it again, right?
Yay.
Okay, so what we're gonna do then is I'm just gonna show you what I actually got as a present from him.
Oh, how sweet.
This time it's included like a coin medallion thingy.
Yes, it was called the Shield of King David last time.
Okay, so see my screen. So this is a I don't know.
We were wondering what it was made of last time.
Yes, well, it's definitely not gold. It's much too light for it.
Well, it will also be massively expensive if it was actually made of gold.
I'm pretty sure that this is just colored aluminum, so I'm just gonna scratch the surface a little bit.
I hope it's lead.
Perhaps it's air-infused aluminum. I'm sorry, aluminium.
I hope it's pyrite.
Oh yeah, you can definitely see that there's a completely different color underneath when you just scratch the surface a little bit.
I hope it's tannerite. Go shoot it, Gil.
No. Like the reason why I say I hope it's pyrite is because pyrite is fool's gold, and it would be quite
if you dissolve it in acid, it will smell like rotten eggs.
Did it claim to be made of something different?
No, we were just wondering, but that looks like aluminium.
Yeah, it's also so light that it literally can't be anything else. It's Wait,
it might be in the middle. Is that an eye or what is that?
It's just a circle. Like Geo, it might be. It could be zinc.
Zinc, yeah. No, a zinc is something you have in the kitchen, but a zinc, yeah. Potato mouth.
Damn it, I can't find my fucking scale.
Oh, well, you mean your cocaine scale? And I'm taking that toilet break, by the way.
You mean my letter scale, which I only use for letters? Yeah, I can't find it right now, but I estimate it's maybe 10 to 12 grams, something like that.
Yeah, it's aluminum.
Yeah, it's definitely
aluminium or whatever fuck you say.
It's definitely rather cheaply made.
In other words, I can't say properly. Aluminium or whatever it is. I can't say it properly at all.
Or the correct one, you know. I ruined its powers.
How did you do your icon, Geo? That is.
That would be Paint 3D.
Okay, you really want to know how I did this?
It's a neat icon.
Yes, and
Okay,
like it's Paint 3D.
I actually took 60 individual pictures of this 3D model I painted in Paint 3D, and then I combined them to a GIF.
Well, it's pretty good going.
I know.
Oh God! Now we are gonna have the how to pronounce GIF discussion.
You pronounce it GIF.
You can kill me later, Micro.
No, the thing is, it's such a stupid discussion, and every time someone like brings up the G is for graphical, so obviously it's GIF because graphical. I want to know how the fuck they pronounce JPEG.
But that's a J.
Considering the P is an F sound because it stands for photographic or something like that.
Okay, so here's a question I have about the English language, right? The GA in enough sounds like an F. The O in women sounds like an I.
Yes.
And for some reason, the TI in nation sounds like SH, right?
Well, to be fair, that's the fault of French, not them.
But I'm right?
Yes.
So shouldn't the word go to GHOTI be pronounced like fish?
Yeah, you can stop stealing jokes from other people.
No one ever said our language was straightforward.
That's true.
Or easy, or intuitive, or...
I'm prepared to call English very straightforward compared to Danish, especially Danish grammar or the non-existent.
I mean, to be fair, the German grammar is more complicated. But Danish isn't actually that bad. Danish isn't that bad grammar-wise. What is really the real problem with Danish is the pronunciation, because it's like a mumble language where you only pronounce half of all the words, and the half you actually pronounce isn't pronounced as you would expect.
Micro Danish only contains 2 grammatical genders, right?
Yes, and there's no way to figure out what words are.
Okay, German actually contains 3, and the funny thing is they're completely incompatible with all the Latin languages.
Well, at least it doesn't have 4.
Well, the thing is, at least in German, there's some like, in German, the different genders at least like they serve some kind of purpose. At least like the concept of grammatical gender serves a purpose because you can use it to distinguish what words are being talked about, because they change depending on what part of a sentence the word is. True. In Danish, they're just there for no reason. Like it wouldn't matter if we just reduced it to 1.
Yeah, and also, I'm sorry, but this cannot be translated. Whoops. This cannot be translated. For ikke. For lam.
Okay, so the joke here is that the word for sheep and the word for getting is the same.
Lambs.
So the joke is what he's saying, literally saying, is sheep don't get sheep, they get lambs, and the joke obviously being that you're literally saying sheep don't sheep lamb.
Yeah, because the word
there's something similar in German.
As get.
There's a similar sentence in German. Wenn hinter fliegen nach.
Okay, that's insanity.
Cool. That's fly, isn't it?
Yes, when flies fly behind flies, fly. When flies fly behind flies, flies will follow flies.
Sobriety test right there.
Well, there's also an interesting thing. Like Danish has a lot of like weird instances of words like that mean completely different things being spelled and pronounced exactly the same. Like the word in the Danish word for magpie and the Danish word for damage is the same, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Like why?
Yeah, skade and skade. It's not even it's not just spelled the same. It's
literally pronounced the same. Like
pronounced the same. Yeah. The only difference is the only way you can see the difference is when you if you read the context or hear the context in the spoken
and
word.
there's a lot of words in Danish like that.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, hence my for lam.
Yeah.
Try teaching that to immigrants trying to actually learn one of the hardest languages on the planet.
Danish is hard, is it?
It's definitely the hardest language in Europe to pronounce.
Oh no, Michael! I'd be careful. Hungarian is
Hungarian is supposed to be the hardest.
No, Hungarian is hard. Remember what I said? I said hard to pronounce. Hungarian is easier to pronounce. It's hard grammatically, but of all the European languages, Danish is by far the hardest to pronounce. It's actually so hard that our like Danish kids. There's been studies on this. Danish kids actually lag behind the kids of other European countries in their language understanding because it takes so long for them to actually like catch up on all the fucking sounds and all the weirdness in the pronunciation.
Holy shit.
And when it comes to languages, I still have aspirations of learning Pashto fluently. Because it's an awesome language.
Does Danish have all the usual auxiliary verbs like would and should? Would go, should go, will go, right? All the future stuff. Okay, good. Because Hungarian apparently lacks all of that stuff.
Well, if I remember correctly, Hungarian there deals with those in a different way.
Right, they'd have because I remember how
make future. If I remember correctly, you can still make future, like say something will happen in the future.
Right.
But the language handles it differently.
Yeah, but they have definite problems with their language. There's a lot of stuff they miss out that you can do in English and German as well, because German and English, as I understand it, has the same auxiliary verbs as described. So you can structure things in the future, potential, conditional things like would do, should do, can do, did do.
Exactly identical.
Yeah, so it's very sensible. It's very useful, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but in American and on British TV, suddenly they started to use the present tense instead of saying the future tense. So instead of saying something will happen, they say if someone does this, it goes in, or in a playing commentary on football. There's a new, really revolting.
This is actually a thing that is standard in German, Rumpus. We actually don't use the future tense in most cases.
Really?
I go to the football match tomorrow.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, but isn't that also because the future tense in German is kind of weird? Like it.
Actually, there are two different future tenses.
Yeah,
one is describing things that happen in the future, and the other is describing things that will already have happened in the future. They're called Futur 1 and Futur 2.
Right. Okay, but yeah, that's.
And then there's the fact that Danish is a verb second. So no matter like in a normal sentence, no matter what you're saying, the verb will always be the second part of the sentence.
Yes, that's not the case in German. In auxiliary sentences, the verb is actually the last word in the sentence.
Like
last word in the sentence.
Yeah. Which means that it's like when you translate Danish directly into other languages, if the translation program doesn't take that into account, it becomes a fucking mess.
Do most Danish people speak English as a second language?
Yeah,
we have to.
Most of us can speak English and understand English fluently before we even start preschool.
To be fair, I still think that you and I both are probably better at it than the majority of people.
Well, yeah, we live in the real Denmark, and we were born and grew up in the real Denmark, and not in.
So what's the not real Denmark?
Okay, so you know how let me explain this. Oh, I have this. Okay, so you know how you have in the UK you have weird regional things between the north and the south.
Yeah, we do indeed.
Yeah, we have that between east and west.
Oh right, I see.
And, and both me and Bo Bo still lives in Jutland, which is the western part.
Oh yeah,
and I was born there. but I now live in Copenhagen, which is why he refers to me as Swede.
Well,
So
actually,
hold on, which one's the real one? The Copenhagen one or the West one?
Scotland.
You've actually got a contrast here. I'm a northerner, and I think Rumpus, you're in the south, aren't you?
I certainly am. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a northerner. And
Well, northerner, or I mean, are you on the west or east coast?
I'm more towards the northeast.
Northeast, so close to Ireland, or
Well,
I'm
I'm kind of a difficult one anyway. I got a slight northeast twang, but my dad's ex-Royal Air Force, so I'm kind of like the accent's there, but it's not as big as you. I'm not going to be like, I don't speak like a Geordie, for instance.
Well, I just want to say the contrasts are probably
accent.
even bigger in Germany, right? Because of the separation of the country that lasted 50 years. I think I already told this story before, but whenever I drive to Berlin, I actually try to avoid leaving my vehicle between the former Eastern German border and Berlin itself, because the dialect the people in between speak is just so fucking weird, and I can't stand it.
Well, we have to deal with Scottish people, Gio, in our place.
Rumpus, I try to explain.
Awesome.
I tried to explain to you how bad this actually is. Apparently, well, mostly the Saxon people from Saxony, which is an eastern state. They have this dialect. They speak through their noses in a way.
Right.
That they actually try to imitate this. Der Zug nach Berlin-Spandau fährt heute an Gleis 7 ab. And it's disgusting.
That's actually a higher pitch. You
it was quite musical though, Gio, what you were doing.
No, oh my God.
I mean, you to me, I mean, as I said to you before, you sound to me like some sort of SS officer from a Second World War film. But I can believe you massacring a few people, whereas the accent you just used is a rather more friendly, cuddly.
No, it's not. No, oh my God.
Sorry, Gio.
No, it's
uneven.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
One thing is, Gio, your English is accented, but it's not as accented as some I've heard. You speak English quite fluently to me.
Well, the thing is, first of all,
speaking it fluently and speaking it without accent isn't the same thing.
No, I'm just saying it's not as his accent is not as heavy as what
English is. First of all, English is the language I actually use at work most of the time, right? Because the work group I'm in is rather international. Second of all, we actually start learning English at age 7 or 8. So
that's late.
At this point, I've pretty much been learning English for almost 20 years.
Like you pretty much especially both in Germany, but especially like a very small country like Denmark, which speaks a language that isn't spoken pretty much it's not spoken anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. I wonder why that is.
We kind of have to learn a second language early on, because that's the only way we're gonna communicate with the rest of the world. I mean, we are taught Danish. We have the choice between learning German or French in school. And we're taught that from early on as well.
Would you say most people select German?
Yes.
Because there's more in common with
yes. Although I can understand German to a certain extent. But I can't, I've forgotten most of it. I wouldn't be able to form a proper sentence.
But English spend a week in Frankfurt, for example.
I just want to say, if you decide to learn German instead of English, gute Entscheidung.
I'd just like to comment on Tommy Grunwald in the chat. He's just saying he'd love to debunk a video of Dell's, that's the Scottish guy, but can't because he just doesn't understand what he's saying.
Wait, what? I must say I can actually understand the Scottish people better than I can understand you.
I can understand Dell, but most of what he says is just pretty much always speaking aggressively.
I think actually Scottish people are actually quite easy to understand for me. When I take a look at, for example, I don't know if you know him, Adore TV. That's a tech review channel. I actually have no problems whatsoever understanding this guy, even though he has a thick Scottish accent.
Well, why are you from? Because there's a bit different. I mean, if you get find someone from the Hebridean Islands, and good fucking luck.
Yeah, that's got a much nicer accent. The Glaswegian one, particularly that Dell's got, is the most objectionable of the Scottish accents.
Yes, but but I'm talking about understandability.
hang on. Did I understand that correctly? If you live in Glasgow, you're a Glaswegian.
Yes, that's
the weird thing. You can never guess if you unless you've heard it before, what you call a person who lives in a certain city or town.
The thing is that there's various ones. Like, for instance, people from Manchester could be referred to as Mancunians.
That's a nice word.
Oh, that's slightly racist too.
No,
that's what it can be, but not always.
Yeah, it's really weird that the people from my city are usually being referred to as further.
But the thing is that when people when I refer to as Geordie, I was actually referring to people from Newcastle.
Yeah. I like that accent. I like the Geordie accent. It's
although sometimes it can be a very broad accent, Micro.
But there are some very nice Scottish accents.
I know, but I quite like both the Scottish accents and
there are some very nice Scottish accents.
Geordie accents.
It's just the Glaswegian one that's a bit, or at least some parts of Glasgow. I mean, there's a big variation, I think, even in Glasgow. But there's definitely a sort of aggressive accent that Dell's got that is definitely the contingent of people who do speak like that, unfortunately.
Well, if you do search on YouTube for Big Clive, his accent, I think he is originally from Isle of Man, but he tones it down to what do you call it, Royal English or primary?
Received pronunciation.
Sorry, Big Clive does not receive pronunciation.
No, he doesn't. Definitely not. By the way, if you don't know Big Clive, check out his video on this on this weird power outlet adapter that actually snaps you with electricity as soon as you start it.
Yeah, Big Clive's good. Yeah.
No, I was hoping you went for his video on Japanese Barbie doll.
Oh, I don't actually know that one.
But that one's good. That one's good.
Also, I mean, he is. I think he's bisexual, and he doesn't make a point of it in his videos. I mean, he doesn't really like talking about it, not ever.
Yeah, because that's not relevant to the video.
Yeah, you can easily hear that he's that kind of guy. It's so fucking funny. And also, he's the annual technician on lighting and electricity for the Edinburgh, the Royal, what do you call it? The Royal Military Edinburgh Tattoo.
That's right. Yeah, you got that. Yeah.
I just love his way of filming.
Yeah, he's
somebody
good.
in the side chat called HateSet1941 just said the BBC put out a TV program made in Glasgow, and they had to subtitle it when they broadcast it.
We have the same thing over here in Denmark.
Yeah, we have a similar thing going on here with Swiss TV. Swiss German is so weird and fucking remote that you don't understand the fucking what they're saying.
When someone from the north of Jutland or from Bornholm is being interviewed, they are given subtitles because otherwise the rest of Denmark can't understand it.
Basically, the guys from Copenhagen.
Now here's a language.
Okay,
here's a language you probably don't hear very often. Welsh. That is a language that is very difficult.
It's a shame because it's a cool language.
It's a Celtic language, but because in Brittany they speak a version of Celt, don't they? That's a similar.
But I mean,
regarding Welsh, can you guys do me a favor? Wait a second.
And where or what is Brittany? That sounds like a.
Can you pronounce that
it's
one?
An island of the coast.
West of France.
Rumpus, stop, guys, do me a favor and be quiet for a second. Rumpus, can you pronounce this?
No, I can't pronounce that.
This is the this is the famous long word. It's actually concocted. It was some guy decided he wanted to make it the longest word.
It's made up as a
and it actually means literally something like this is almost. It's almost like it actually means itself almost like this is the longest speaking word. It's so ridiculous. And I know that it ends in go go go. That's how you end that. Yeah. So that's the only bit that I remember. Is the ends in go go go.
Your first mistake was starting that with an L sound. That is not what the two L's in Welsh mean.
It's not what. Indeed, it's not what.
But you be able to find that video clip of the weather presenter nailing that.
Even though I couldn't share it, I don't have the audio set up right.
Hey, Gio, try and find this place in North Wales. Aberystwyth.
Show them where Brittany is, Gio. While you're there, could you just show people? Someone was asking where Brittany was. I think it was Bow.
And it's not
someone.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. So there's Brittany. So there's Brittany, and that's built. That they have a Celtic language as well. And that's
for some reason I don't like this place.
What, Cherbourg?
Seriously, nobody got that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, I did.
So the language, the native language of Bretons, as I think they're called, is very closely related to Welsh. So that's the point. And I think there are other Celtic languages that still exist in Europe somewhere.
Hadn't Welsh technically died out, and then they kind of like reinvented it?
No, it's still it's all still the same stuff. I think is it the Bilbao in Spain. I think it's got something. Is that Celtic as well? In
Basque, yeah, Basque is still. I think it's a Celtic language. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's and Cornish, as someone has just pointed out in the chat. Graham Houston. Indeed, there's the sort of remains. So the extremities of Britain. We've got Wales and Cornwall. They got that's Celtic. I suppose Irish is called Celtic, of course, isn't it? Yes, that's another
Gaelic.
Oh, I mean Gaelic.
Gaelic.
But isn't Gaelic a Celtic language?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I've just put in the chat the longest word in English.
Oh, I think I've upset the.
It takes like an hour to say.
Come on, yeah. I mean that's a protein. Yeah, obviously that's gonna be a long word.
It's not just any protein. It's the biggest protein called Titan.
Well, hey, Micro, you did the deed.
Okay, someone's saying Basque isn't Celtic. Okay, I couldn't.
Basque isn't Celtic. Okay.
No, Basque isn't Celtic.
Yeah, it might be unique. Okay,
Basque, if I remember correctly, is technically classed as a Romance language. I think.
So has it some origins in Latin, maybe?
Yeah, that's what Romance language means.
Micro, the video you put a link to, it's a computer voice, and I'm getting world history of facial flashbacks.
Apparently, Hungarian is almost unique, and I think Finnish is almost unique.
Yes, both Hungarian and Finnish are quite unique, and actually surprisingly share a lot of features. Which is why Finnish is not a Scandinavian language.
Right.
Because Finland isn't part of Scandinavia.
Is it? Oh, right. Okay.
No, Scandinavia is literally 3 countries. If you want to include Finland, the correct word is Finnoscandia.
Well,
right.
Or include even more and say the northern countries,
which would be Greenland, Scandinavian countries, Finland, Iceland, the Faroe Islands.
But then the Faroe Islands are technically speaking Denmark.
Yeah,
okay, let's not go there.
Do they speak Danish in Greenland?
Yes, but they also speak Greenlandish.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. And it's quite a contentious issue whether or not they're actually Danish. They're probably give it 30 years and they're probably an independent country.
Well, the thing is, of course, the great thing about Greenland is it left the EU in '84 or something. So they get my vote as well done, the Greenland.
How? No, they
congratulations to all 3 of them.
Hold on, they wouldn't be able to leave the EU because Denmark is part of the EU and we handle their foreign policies.
Yeah, but then nonetheless, Greenland is not part of the EU.
Well, they're not part of Europe. I mean,
no, they're not part of the EU.
I think, Rumpus, you have to be careful. This is like the UK Virgin Islands or something. Is it part of the EU?
Yeah, that's right. I think something like the Isle of Man, for instance, I think in the UK might not be part of the EU.
Yeah, the Isle of Man, I think, is directly a subject of the Crown. Isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah,
the Crown.
Okay, yeah. So here it is. Greenland is an autonomous constituent country of the Kingdom of Denmark. It's one of the EU countries, overseas countries and territories. So it is kind of technically sort of part of the EU.
Really? Because I thought they had a big referendum on it or something in '84, and they actually left it, and so they're not.
Yeah, but they're still but remember, because they're still on we still technically handle their military and foreign and monetary policies, financial
monetary policy.
they're kind of still subject to Danish rules.
What currency do they use?
So they're kind of still part of the EU with a lot of asterisks.
Yeah.
What currency do they use?
Danish kroner.
Danish kroners, and we have the Danish police.
Of course, you're not in the euro, of course, are you?
No,
No,
we're not.
hell no.
We have a
We
few.
never do that. We have the it's a dispute. We're in a dispute between against I think it's either Norway or Sweden for having the oldest unified coin or
Currency.
Well, that would be Denmark, because Denmark is the only one of those countries that has existed continuously for.
Yeah, and we're about what 800 years old or something.
No.
Can't remember.
When was Jellingesten put up?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I have to correct myself. No, our Danish flag turns 800 years old this year.
Denmark is a very old country.
That's right. You've got the Danish flag, I think, is the oldest one in the world. And I think the British one is third or something.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the British flag has been changed a lot.
Yeah, so it was changed in
because like every time you have gotten like a new part of the kingdom, you've sort of added it on.
Yeah, so England. I should say England. I think is the third oldest.
I just want to point out the German flag has also changed a lot in the past.
Well, I mean,
not necessarily to the better.
Like it's like Germany hasn't really been one country like for that many years.
Well, technically, Germany has been the same country since 1949, right?
Yeah, that's not a whole lot.
Because the unification, officially wasn't a unification; it was just a joining of the former Eastern Germany into the Western German Republic. Right, so it's not the formation of a new country; it's just the addition of Eastern Germany to the rest of the country.
Yeah, but before that, you're just like a bunch of warring states, basically.
Yeah, before 1871, that's correct.
Yeah, explain to me what the Holy Roman Empire is, Gio. Or what?
It's neither holy, neither Roman, nor an empire.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't holy, it wasn't Roman, it wasn't an empire. What was it exactly? And do Germans think of that as being the old Germany or something?
No. In a way, we think of it more like as a precursor, as an inorganized mess that would take a millennium to actually get its shit together and unify.
Because it was quite powerful. Was it under Otto or something in about 1100 or something?
It started with Charlemagne in 802 or so AD.
Right, that was the Charlemagne bit. But I thought later on, about 1100 or so, it took up a bit of Italy and became a separate sort of Germany sort of orientated thing.
Well, the Frank Empire split up in 3 parts in 1825 or something, and the eastern part is what since has become the Holy Roman Empire. The western part became France later on.
Yes, right.
And France managed to unify rather quickly because they have a more centralized government system. At least they already had back then. Do
you know what I mean by when I said Otto? There's an Otto the first. Otto
the second. Obviously there's like maybe 20 Ottos.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
also,
I think
also it's quite a popular German name.
Okay, there was an Otto the first, and Otto the second. I think is the sort of era. Do you know when they were around?
No idea.
Okay, I think it's about sort of 11th, 12th, 13th century.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was
sounds about right.
I think it was a big chunk of sort of where Germany is now going into Austria and the top of Italy, which was run by some.
Until the end of the Second World War, Denmark used to was it the First or Second World War? I know it was one of the world wars where Denmark actually afterwards ended up becoming bigger because you had to give back some of the territory.
That was World War One.
Yes.
After World War One, you got the southern part of Jutland back.
Yeah,
stripped 20 kilometers approximately in size, if I remember correctly.
I think German troops claiming it was an empire, that the Holy Roman Empire was an empire, but because he thinks it was controlled by someone overarching over. But it wasn't.
It did have an emperor, so technically I think it counts as an empire.
Control. It wasn't like it was an authoritarian had control over those independent.
No, the way this worked was. There was a council of 7 or 8 dukes that voted for an emperor.
Yes,
and that one was technically head of state,
but it didn't really have that much power.
Head of state.
Right, so Otto II.
Head of states.
Yeah, well,
the second was
depending on how you
1000.
count it.
Okay, 1000 AD was Otto was okay. That was so
It's
that was
also quite hilarious that Germany never had a centralized capital like the UK or the US or France did. The capital in the Middle Ages was just wherever the emperor happened to be at the moment. So
That's
technically,
nice.
the cities of Aachen, Nuremberg, Weimar, Berlin, Bonn, and then Berlin again all counted as a capital over the
So
time.
technically, he could have just like found some like dingy town somewhere in the middle of nowhere and gone there, and that would be the capital.
So yeah, there's
That's hilarious.
until at least the middle of the 18th century. Well, let's just say 1871 is the mark. There was no like centralized capital in Germany. And I mean, there's still there's still a lot of the power still quite spread over the 16 states, right? It's not as centralized as England or France or.
Yeah, well, England was the first nation state, as it's determined, with the French following on.
Wait, when was your consolidated?
That's true. I think the Danes might have it. Yeah, might have.
Yeah, we were consolidated in like the 8th century. 8th century.
Right, but did you have a proper sort of centralized government? I mean,
yes,
there was it.
We had a king,
or was it more a dynastic thing?
We had a king.
I can't remember when though.
No,
everyone had a king, but there was the question was whether the focus was on the state or dynasty, and there's sort of I suppose definition what you do have a state, a centralized thing with a separate foreign policy.
Yes.
Right, because okay,
we are like the second or third oldest country in the world. I think Nepal beats.
Well, I think the magic word here is continuously governed.
Obviously, which is kind of unfair because we have lost control several times.
What do the Danes think of being losing Schleswig-Holstein in whatever it was?
We don't. No, we didn't lose. We didn't lose those. We don't have them anymore, but we didn't really lose them.
I just want to say, Micro, you can have Schleswig-Holstein back if you want.
1870, whatever it was. Bismarck nicked them.
You're right that we don't have them anymore, but we didn't really lose them. They had a vote whether or not they wanted to be Danish, and they didn't.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh really?
And also, just to rub your nose,
they had their own version of Brexit, basically.
Just to rub the nose in British people and some other countries as well. The Danes, the Swedish, and the Norwegian were the original pirates. Being
Vikings.
Viking
and pirate is different.
Horn, helmet, mounted Vikings, of course, but. Then again, that's a multi.
You're talking about Vikings, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Vikings were
the original.
They were pests. I have to agree. They were bloody pests. We had a lot to put up with them for quite a few hundred years.
That's actually kind of a misnomer. Like, yes, there were a lot of raids and stuff, but also like a lot of the Vikings ended up like settling down in the UK. And a huge part of the English language actually comes from Old Norse.
Yes, English is actually 50% Danish, 50% German, and 50% French.
No, not Danish. Old Norse.
Yeah, I don't think it's
keep in mind
quite as well. I suppose that you're in a position to know, I suppose, but I thought the Old Norse stuff was. I thought about 20% or something of English.
Well, I don't actually know that, but. The thing is, the reason why I correct you on the Danish thing is that Danish is the of the Norse languages, which is Icelandic, Faroese, and Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian.
I mean, things like street, I think, for instance, is Danish.
That is one.
Actually, it's also German. The German word for Straße.
That's because they're all Germanic. But like, the point here is that Danish is by far the most derived from the original Norse. Whereas Icelandic is almost identical to it.
I wonder why that is.
Didn't really.
Well, there's like a couple of reasons for it. Like Danish is a weird language. Like even within their what's it called? Within the language family of the Norse languages, we are the weird one. We're the odd one out.
Hey, Micro, how many dialects does Danish actually have?
A lot.
How do you differentiate from between two dialects of people living somewhat.
I'll put it like this: like we pretty much have the same situation, or at least used to have, as the UK used to have, where you could tell like what part of the side of the river in a town someone came from.
Yeah,
right.
We used to have that, and we still like. It's pretty much the same situation as you have in the UK today.
Yeah, and that was almost as precise as you could just look at a car's license plate and know exactly from which city or town or part of the larger town that you lived in. No, not anymore. No, but you used to be able to, which is kind of weird. But oh well, we didn't have that many.
Still do that, so.
Well, of course, as someone just mentioned, we've got Peter Schmeichel, and he's got his son is playing in goal for Leicester. And I think Peter Schmeichel is now, I think Peter Schmeichel he's now. I don't know if he's a British citizen or not, but certainly he's obviously brought up his family and things. And
he was bought by a British football team, so he moved there.
Yeah, he's been there from.
Since Micro used the word, Peter Schmeichel and his son, they are, sports players. They play the game that is actually called football. They use a ball, a spherical ball.
Well, to be fair, the goalkeepers, so they mostly use their hands.
Yeah, it's not a weird.
But they play football.
Example,
object thing. Not really a ball, and nothing about football except for
they're a really bad example, but because they mainly use their hands, they're keepers.
Are you trying to pull the no true ball fallacy?
Hey, I have balls.
Hey, in actual fact, we've actually got a fairly decent goalkeeper nowadays playing for England.
Well,
to change
a proper goalkeeper or a goalie.
Same thing.
A good goalkeeper.
Not fair enough.
Peter Schmeichel was amazing. He was unbelievably good. Without him,
very good.
Without Manchester United would not have won half the bloody championships, the Premier League titles they did without him.
By the way, Rumpus, I still haven't forgiven you for 1966. Just saying.
Well, we haven't forgiven you for bloody 1996.
Well, we're still
all the other penalty shootouts.
You weren't even alive back then.
Neither was I.
All the penalty shootouts we've suffered at the hands of the Germans. My God, we've got a big grievance. Jesus Christ.
You won
1990, bloody hell. 1996, bloody hell.
1990?
Rumpus, at the end of the day, we just can't take penalties. Apart from that time,
here's how to do this correctly. Here's how to do this correctly and short and concise. 2 world wars and 1 World Cup. Do that.
I think we'll probably take that, I suppose. But nonetheless, we feel pretty aggrieved over here about the number of times we lose on bloody penalties to the Germans since 1966. It's just been again and again and again and again.
Better.
Football. Do you remember what happened in 2010?
Rumpus.
Oh my God, the ball going over the line. Yeah, I do. Certainly that has been scarred on memory, yes. Bloody referee.
The thing is, though, I can't really say I'm too angry about it because there was that controversy in 1966 as well. So we gotta.
Yeah, it was the same thing, but opposite.
Yeah,
but one of them was very clearly over the line.
And the other one was 2010.
Video technology.
Get out of here, Gio. That was absolutely not the case.
But the thing is, though, Rumpus, look on the. Do you like rugby?
No.
Sorry. You would like to.
The adult version of the pussy game called American football. They
you mean the version where they have no regard
do you want to see a rugby scrum? I sure as hell wouldn't.
Scrum?
To be involved. A rugby.
What is the scrum?
A rugby.
Sounds dirty.
I'd just like to point out that the Brits invented every decent sport or game in the world, including football, rounders, and then the Americans whipped off rugby and rounders to turn it into bloody baseball and American football.
Rumpus, you got to admit that baseball is more entertaining than watching a game of flipping rounders.
I must say, Rumpus, I really enjoy watching snooker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I really do.
Well, that's right. We did we invented that. Tennis, football, golf, pigs,
Rumpus, I'm pretty sure that the Germans invented golf.
No, we invented
No,
golf.
it was
No,
Scottish.
every sport of any worth was invented by the Brits, and even the useless ones like cricket.
No, handball.
Oh, that's useless.
I'm a little bit more.
Fucking fun to watch.
I'm a
Something
little
is
bit more.
always happening.
I'm a little bit more modest than what Rumpus is. At the end of the day, I don't. As much as we did create association football.
Well, name a sport.
But we didn't create the concept of kicking a ball around. That's
Yeah, but no, all the official sports with rules and things we invented. You name a sport that's worldwide that wasn't invented by us. That's
badminton.
We invented that.
That's French.
Tennis,
That's French, actually.
You can hear it because it's called badminton.
No, the badminton.
Bowling? I don't know.
I think you get mixed up with real tennis and then
curling.
Oh, curling. Yeah, okay.
Curling, well, that's Canadian, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that's not us. Yeah. Even bobsleigh we invented, and downhill skiing we invented. I mean, we invented everything.
We don't particularly do well at those things, though.
I'm still pretty sure,
Rumpus,
I'm still pretty sure that the Germans invented golf in 1974.
1974.
He's making a card joke. I hate to break it to you, but tennis is also a French invention.
No, it wasn't. No, you're about real tennis. Right, badminton was invented by the British in India.
But then it was invented by the Indians.
No, it was invented by when they were in India. It wasn't invented by the Indians in India. It was invented by us in India.
Okay, from Wikipedia. Historians believe that the game's ancient origin lay in the 12th century northern France for tennis.
There was real tennis, yeah, but the game lawn tennis, the thing we all play, is British. The real tennis is so different. I mean, you had to be in a room. You had to knock it into strange holes. You have a droopy net, and you had to bounce it off the tiles. It was
tennis was still invented by the French by that.
And it had a different. But no, it was so different. It didn't count. Sorry.
What I'm hearing is
oh my god.
I'm a little bit more, as I said before, I'm a bit more modest about things. So
well, we'll just name a decent tennis with the lawn tennis, which is what we play. It was invented by the Brits. There was this strange, not played by anybody, real tennis, which was played by the odd bloody monarch or something, chucking her stuff around in strange ways with a strange net and
that literally describes every fucking sport in the world.
I need a proper differentiation between proper tennis and lawn tennis. What's the difference?
Right, the proper tennis is lawn tennis, and then what's called real tennis is an ancient medieval game which I think was French, but it's so different to the tennis that we play, which was invented in Britain in about 1870 or something, the lawn tennis.
And I'm still waiting for the the explanation of the difference.
Lawn tennis happens with the court with what you see in today's tennis is lawn tennis. Real tennis is played inside a courtyard with tiles, and you have to throw balls, knock balls through holes in the wall, and the net is a very droopy thing. So it's not a sort of horizontal thing at all. You also don't serve it. You change sides to serve. And you have lines on the court depending on.
Sounds like tennis.
No, it's not. It's not. If you saw real tennis court, you would not think it was in any way related to tennis, except for the fact there was a ball involved and a bat.
Huh. When you say lawn tennis, in the beginning, the only thing I have visually is the pole that you stick into the ground, and there's a tennis ball looking object attached to a string.
Lawn tennis is what's played at Wimbledon.
All right, yeah.
What you think of as tennis is lawn tennis.
Yeah, but it's just the word, lawn.
That's its official title. It's lawn tennis, even though we all call it just tennis. But its official title is lawn tennis. And the real tennis.
Okay, I have a sport for you: ice hockey. That's
that was based off hockey.
Yeah, we invented hockey.
Wow. But then again, I prefer watching a game of ice hockey over a game of really hockey any day of the week. Lawn hockey, as you would call it.
Well, no, I don't know. That's not actually called lawn hockey. It's just called hockey.
Well,
is it?
I'm just differentiate.
Hogtie Champ objects to the fact that we call ice hockey, and he just calls it hockey. I mean.
I've been to watch ice hockey games, and I know why.
You mean like reasonable people differentiate between, speaking actual English and what the Americans call English, but is bastardized English.
Regarding ice hockey, there's a local team over here called the Nuremberg Ice Tigers. They've played so shitty in the last 24 months that I actually am in favor on renaming them the Snowflakes.
Oh, that's a stupid name. You don't like call them the Nuremberg Tigers. There's no reason to include the ice part. That's just silly.
I'll tell you one thing about watching hockey in Canada. It's one hell of an atmosphere, as I've been a fair few times when I've traveled to Canada.
Sorry.
Why would you go to Canada? Except for, as an American wanting to live in a proper, country where they take care of their citizens,
I'm not American, though.
Healthcare stuff,
I'm not American, though, Kobo.
No, I know. I am just, it's fair for us, but yeah.
Jared's the American.
Yeah, American.
So yeah, Jared, what do you think about the Canadians?
They're nice.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about the Germans?
Sorry.
Yeah, well, they're too nice. If an American comes up to a Canadian and decks him, the Canadian will say, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Well, that's because the Canadians are members of the Commonwealth. They've got all the good manners from us.
I wouldn't call us good manners.
Yeah, I was about to say, have you met some of the British people in the world? They're not exactly all like upstanding gentlemen.
Oh, well, there's a difference between being a gentleman or a very, very polite person and, being a dim-witted underdog who just accepts defeat as if it was the greatest thing on earth.
So the French.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. But then again,
I'm sorry, that was so
the war isn't exactly all that accurate, but who cares?
If you actually look at the number of wars the French have fought against other countries, including Britain,
they're
pretty even, even with Britain.
It's such an unfair stereotype, but I couldn't. The joke was so obvious.
Yeah, but still, bloody limeys.
Yeah, I know the Americans like to call the French surrendering cheese monkeys, but until the Second World War, the French had a pretty awesome record in wars, and it's only compared. I think only the Brits could compare with them.
Wait, you call them surrendering cheese monkeys?
That's what some American. I think there's a joke in America. I'm not quite sure about this, but
we call
a
them
lot of
snail
Americans
eaters,
call French.
The history says a very different story about the French.
But they were with
Rumpus, we refer to them as snail eaters.
Right. Or is it about eating gay frogs' legs?
Yeah, we call them the frogs, of course. That's our sort of term of abuse for them. Just like we call the Germans krauts for their sauerkraut.
That's just too hilarious because the Poles literally eat 10 times more kraut than we do.
Well, I like sauerkraut. I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, it tastes great.
The best variant is the one with bacon.
Oh no, I hate bacon.
Yeah.
I don't get the point of limeys. I don't even like limes.
No. Hey.
Yeah, but it's because of our navy, wasn't it? So it's because we basically ruled the seas for 250 odd years. Then we discovered you had to have lime to do it.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
To keep away scurvy. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But hey, from what country does badminton originate? You don't have to search it. I have it right here, but
right, British. It was the British in India that invented it.
Yeah, it's from the what would you call it? The olden Asia, where it originated. But it was
But it's the British in India, as I understand it. It's a British game.
Yeah.
Here's some thoughts.
Success was founded in rainy weather. What the hell? It came about because some adults were so bored that they grabbed the children's toys to pass the time. The adults were guests at one of the big courts. What do you call them? Not castles. The manors, I guess, in the countship of Gloucestershire, and the rain
that would be UK
was hindering them. In taking their usual quiet rounds of croquet on the lawn. Instead,
you said Gloucestershire just correctly there.
Well, I'm translating from Danish on the fly here.
Also, to be fair, the best sport to come out of Gloucestershire is cheese rolling.
Well done, Micro. That's very knowledgeable there. That's impressive. I'm glad do you want to expand on that?
Well, Gloucestershire have a weird tradition where once a year they roll a really big wheel of cheese down a hill, and people run after it, then fall over and tumble down
and break legs
and until like I think 5 or 6 years ago, it was an official event with actually like paramedics there and ambulances. But then it was banned on grounds of health and safety.
That's right.
So people just turned up and did it anyway, and there was no one there to help them. That is ridiculous. It's such.
It is ridiculous. It's a 45-degree slope. This thing. I mean, when you see videos, you just go and look at this cheese rolling thing on YouTube. It's absolutely lethal. People running down a 45-degree, they're just basically tumbling over onto their head and onto their feet, back, rolling like a sort of rolly thing, like a cheese. In fact, they turn into a rolling thing and breaking bits of them and falling off as they go down.
Why is there just run down a hill? Why is the cheese there?
It is lethal.
In the live chat, we've got Brainy.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I was thinking about the beaver. Sorry.
So, Rumpus. All the track and field events are pretty much Greek.
Yes, that's right.
And wrestling.
I've actually been to the island where the Olympics were actually first ever put on.
Sure.
I went and Olympia is the.
Yeah, that's not an island. Olympia's not an island.
It's a mountain.
No, it was not an. Sorry, my mistake.
But the original.
But I went there, and it was a very. You can certainly feel the history when you were over there, and the heat.
Yeah, that doesn't really say anything, does it?
Yeah,
except for that they're backwards.
Several hundred years. I mean, it's quite a history, that thing.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, all those running things. Yes, that's all.
And like discus throwing, hammer throw, like all of those things.
My mistake about saying an island. Okay.
And the awesome spear-looking thing that also gave the name to
javelin.
Anti-armor rocket / missile.
Javelin is a good word. Like objectively a good word. Javelin. It sounds cool.
You can hear that it's mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the games. So the games, as well as saying we invented. Obviously, the sort of running athletic stuff. Indeed, the track and field stuff is Greek in origin. Though, of course, it was the very first modern Olympics was actually another town, I think, in Gloucestershire, where they actually had the original Olympics, and that had almost as many sports as the modern one. And then it was
not the original. The original one was in Greece.
Well, I think the first modern Olympic Games were actually held in Athens.
Yes.
No. Before that, about 50 years before that, on a regular 4-year basis, there was a Olympics of the same format were held in Britain by some strange chap somewhere in the West Country.
Oh, just with a different name.
Just with a different name. I can't remember if he called it the Olympics, but it was.
So what you're saying is,
and it was international. It was international.
Some weirdo with a lot of money decided to I want to recreate that before it was actually recreated. That's hilarious.
And then did it for about, I can't remember how many decades. It's quite old and somewhere. And it's an international event. And then for some reason, then the Frenchman decided to really go for it. And then they.
That's actually quite funny. I have another one that wasn't invented in the UK. BMX.
BMX?
Yeah, BMX races.
That's fair.
Bicycle motocross.
No, we didn't invent that bicycle. No.
Wait, that's what BMX stands for?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay.
Bicycle.
Why moto?
Motocross.
Because motocross is an actual thing, and then they did it with bikes.
Yeah. Well, moto, that's just what do you call it? Derived from locomotion, I would imagine. And then
no. It's because before there was BMX, you did it with motocross or
MX.
bike.
The origins of the word.
Motorcycles.
Yeah.
But MX was as how you describe motocross.
And the cross part comes from the fact that the track was usually an H shape. So we had a cross in the middle.
So it's not about Mexicans fleeing on bikes and fleeing from Homeland Security then?
Correct.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh, it was a bad joke. It wasn't even a joke.
No, if you try and keep at it.
Oh, I'll get it right eventually. I think.
Yeah, so we didn't invent BMX. There's a famous film with Nicole Kidman, isn't there, about BMX bikes when it first became fashionable?
Oh yeah, there is.
The only Nicole Kidman I have currently in memory is Ice White Shot.
And in her young years, I have no recollection of what
Dead
happened.
Calm. Dead Calm. She was gorgeous in that as well.
I was just, he's there, done. But like I said, when she was young.
Oh, Ugly German Truth. I actually don't know that joke. Please tell it.
What?
Apparently, there's a joke about a Polish triathlon here in Germany. I haven't heard about it. The disciplines are walking to the public pool and then bicycling home.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
The most dangerous sport. Does anybody know what the most dangerous sport is in the Olympics?
Yes.
In which?
In the Olympics.
In the Olympics.
Let me guess. Give me a second. In the Summer Olympics or
Summer Olympics.
Yeah. I mean, in general, the most dangerous sport would probably be something like paragliding or skiing or mountain climbing.
Yeah, this is Olympic sport. What is the sport at the Summer Olympics that is you're most liable to break something or be damaged in some way?
Some boating thing.
No,
maybe
we've actually mentioned something similar to it earlier. That's why it was set.
Then biking, downhill biking or something.
Yeah, it's the mountain biking thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
With all the jumps, and that is actually they kill, and that's absolutely deadly. And people come off. There's always someone breaking a leg in that Olympics to do that.
Hold on.
And I love mountain biking. I think it's really fun. It's more exhilarating than being on a motorcycle. I think when you go down a really steep slope.
Remind me, Rumpus, where exactly did you dislocate your shoulder again?
On my stairs. Yeah, that's so. I was just going down my stairs and I just slipped on the fourth or fifth step, and then I grabbed out with my right hand, and I'm quite heavy, about some 6 foot or so, and then I just pulled myself, and then my arm then sort of stopped working after that, and I can say that it's one of the most painful things that ever happened to me.
Did you hear this plopping sound like when you crack your
no, I didn't.
Your finger bones?
I missed that sound, but and I didn't even make the same sound when they popped it back in. It didn't actually make a pop sound either.
Well, no, because
back when I fucked up my knee, the sound that I heard was like cracking your finger joints. But
you got it
at
much
least
worse.
one or two orders of magnitudes louder.
Yeah,
the sound. There would be no reason for the sound to be there when they put it back into place, because the sound you hear of a joint cracking is a cavitation bubble disappearing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you've obviously got it much worse than I have.
I have another sport that the British didn't invent.
Okay, right.
Boxing.
That's Greek again. That was an Olympic sport.
No, that's actually ancient. The earliest would be the earliest known depiction of boxing comes from Sumerian belief in Iraq. So.
Oh right. Well, we did invent the rules for modern.
Yes, you did invent the rules, but you didn't invent the sport.
No, that was just bare fist. Yeah, the bare fist punching side of it.
Well, actually,
but the things with gloves.
in ancient Rome, they used. It says here they used to wrap their opponent's hands in leather thongs.
Right. Yes.
What?
And it says wrap leather thongs on the fist.
Are you sure you're at the Wikipedia page and not some weird fetish site?
No, I am.
Is that the potato language site or
no
English?
But actually, interestingly, the amount of deaths that happened in boxing went up after they introduced the gloves, because the gloves means that you can hit someone in the head without smashing, breaking your wrists.
And
so
also
after
weights and
So after they introduced the gloves, there were more hits to the head. So that actually increased the mortality among boxers.
Oh my god!
Because until then, you would hit in the stomach or the chest. Because
in the kidneys.
Because if you actually try and punch someone in the face with a bare fist, your fist isn't gonna have it like. There's a lot more bone in a skull than there is in your fist.
That's right, Micro.
Well, you know what? I've actually done that once, and I was sore for a week or two. But the guy who got it, he lost a couple of teeth.
Yes,
and
but imagine
fractured jaw. So
that's like imagine doing that in like a fight scenario where you keep hitting.
Yeah, with what is it, 10 rounds or more?
Yeah,
more.
Your hand, like it. Also, you hit in the jaw. If you hit in like the actual the cranium. Because, so take the terminology here. The skull is the cranium plus the lower jaw. The cranium is like your head, but not without the lower jaw. Right. If you actually hit someone in the actual cranium, your hand is not gonna stand up to that.
Yeah, and not only that, it's not just someone hitting someone else. It's a professional that has trained to specifically knock out someone else who is in very good shape. So it's a hard punch.
so also, I like the fact that boxing is the only sport where coming third would be weird.
Hey guys, I'm gonna head off now, and I'm absolutely shattered.
Fair enough.
And
why?
Rich, there is one other sport that you should know about that was not invented by the British.
Oh my god!
War?
Snowboarding.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't.
Yeah, we did downhill skiing. We invented downhill skiing, but indeed we didn't do snowboarding. That's true.
So who is it? The Swiss or
nope?
Probably Americans, I think.
The Americans in Michigan.
Really? I have nothing against snowboarders myself, but I've spent so long trying to get my balance right on skis. I don't want to go back to school.
Rumpus, you're wrong again. Skiing or traveling on snows on skis has a history of at least 8 millennia. The earliest archaeological examples of skis were found in Russia and date to 6000 BC. Also, modern skiing has evolved from beginnings in Scandinavia.
And they used the thigh bones of reindeer or something like that.
Probably.
So
skiing wasn't invented in the UK.
Hey, hold on. The cross-country skiing was already in existence, but we invented downhill skiing. That's why I keep on saying downhill skiing.
I'm pretty sure the moment you have skis, someone is gonna go up a hill and go down it.
No, they don't. That's the point. All the previous skis didn't have a binding on the heel, so they couldn't go quickly. The downhill skiing with a bound heel, which is most of the skiing that's done these days. Well, I suppose
regarding that, I have a question, Rumpus. Which hill would you actually ski down in Great Britain?
Oh well, obviously we go to other places and invented there. So we invented in Switzerland. So all the Swiss were running around with their downhill skills, not doing very.
I even know the place which is popular in Sweden. I mean,
Switzerland.
Lillehammer.
The Jungfrau area, Grindelwald.
I wonder why. I mean, just the name makes you kind of happy.
Well,
so anyway, all these Swiss were wandering around doing what this.
Sorry, I can't believe I said Sweden. I must have been tired.
Yeah.
Well, Switzerland, Sweden, it's just like saying Zealand from Denmark and Sweden. It's just it's the same thing.
Right. So in Switzerland, they were running around doing what everyone else has been doing for however many millennia, having skis, cross-country skiing, and then we decided, well, look, we want something a bit more exciting. So we then decided to bind the heel, and then we invented the whole sport of downhill skiing, going downhill, because they didn't do on the other skis because you couldn't do it.
Well, hey, there's a difference between inventing something to use as transport and then using the same thing and coming up with a game. From
the Olympic Games website, first under the header, first competitions, Skiing changed its form from a method of transportation into a sporting activity during the late 19th century. The first non-military skiing competition are reported to have been held in the 1840s in northern and central Norway.
Not downhill skiing.
That is downhill skiing.
No, it's not. That's not proper down. That's not going down a slope.
It's under downhill skiing.
Well, it must be a very slight slope then. You're talking.
In Norway.
We're talking about going down a proper
In any
slope.
case, we cannot trust the Olympic website. It has French in there. The French, I mean, we cannot trust it.
Rumpus, how?
Okay, it literally says at the beginning of this article, the birth of modern downhill skiing is often dated to the 1850s in Norway.
Rumpus, how often do you ski then? Because I ski pretty much every year.
Oh right, I haven't skied for about must be 10 years now. So yes, I used to go.
Also, it's literally impossible in Norway. It's literally impossible to ski without going downhill at some point.
And
because
also,
the country is made out of half downhill.
Okay, no skiing you're talking about that downhill. You saying they had a bound heel?
That's not what downhill skiing.
Well, you can't
going
do
downhill.
you can't do proper downhill skiing.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. Not as a proper, not at any decent speed. You just basically.
That's
going
not,
in.
No one said you had to go fast.
Rumpus,
can't
you just agree that skiing has many disciplines?
Well, yeah, the downhill skiing is very
except
different from
discipline
cross-country.
if it's British.
Yeah, downhill skiing is very different to cross-country skiing. The downhill skiing is
but the speed of a sport does not denote it being a new sport.
Well, no, it's very different.
And using gravity is just cheating. That's why cross country skiing is a lot better, sports wise than downhill skiing.
Anyway, really, even I've got to admit, cross country has a lot more. Practical things it can be used for in those times.
Give me a pair of snowblades or short carts any day.
You prefer,
or just one ski.
You prefer the blades.
And I'll have fun.
Well, yes, I do prefer the blades or short carts. Actually, I prefer short carts more. There's a bit more to them.
But short carts, is that the winter version of being thrown under a short bus?
No.
Or,
okay, so
I'm not sure what it is.
snowblades are about 1 meter long, and you have to and the twin tipped and have about the same amount of ski on either side of your foot. Short carts is 125 or so centimeters long, and have a twin tip, but with a bit more ski in the front.
Here's a bit of a comparison. I ski on an all mountain pair of skis at 180 length. I'm about 189 centimeters tall, 6 foot. Just
same length I'd use. Yeah, 180s. Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah, that's what I ski on.
Oh, just a side question. A side question for Micro. When it actually opens, will you be trying out the green skiing area on the power plants?
I hadn't considered that. I might actually go there.
If they manage to get the safety stuff figured out from all the way from the top. We have a new, somewhat new power plant in Copenhagen, well, in Zealand, and they decided to make a what do you call it, a sporting area on the roof of it. So they have a artificial skiing what do you call it, ramp or resort? Not a resort, but a ski ramp on the roof of a power plant.
They've built a thing that you can ski down on without destroying your skis.
Let's see if I can remember what they call it.
You can ski down anything, like in the Sahara Desert and the Middle East. You can down sand slopes, which is terrible for the skis. Like it's gonna completely destroy them.
The bases will be gone completely.
The bases?
Yeah,
the bases of the
thing underneath.
They're very important.
The ski, right?
The
bottom part of
thing, so every season when you say thinking, I'm gonna go ski, you should make sure that the bottom of the ski actually looks properly. Skiing is one of the few sports I actually enjoy doing and I actually know something about.
Oh, I would love to try it. I mean,
I've
never tried
pretty
it.
much been skiing like 1 week a year for most of my life.
Where do you go, Micro?
Well, in the early years we went to Sweden, but in the later years we go to Zillertal in Austria.
Nice.
Austria is a really nice place.
Yes, and
I've been
Zillertal is an amazing place because it's just like it's just
Zillertal.
like a valley.
Meyerhofen?
Yes.
I've been there once.
So Zillertal is just like this long valley with.
You realize that Tal literally means valley,
I was
right?
about to say that it's and then you have a river called Ziller running through it.
Micro, you just made a HIV virus fallacy.
What?
Yeah, you just made an HIV virus fallacy.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I pretty much know what you said. You implied with the last word something that is already implied in the word, like the flag cannon or the HIV virus or the.
That makes sense. Okay, that's not really a fallacy. That's just stupid. No, but the point is that like what I want to say is that Zillertal, like it's a long valley where you just have like one side of it is basically like ski resort upon ski resort upon ski resort, and then you end up with a glacier that's also a ski resort.
Intertux.
Is that where Billy's? Billy, damn it! I'm laughing at my own bad joke before I can get it out. Is that where Willie Sleep Valley goes to for his winter holidays?
Fuck off! Fuck off!
Sorry,
that joke is so terrible.
The ice is melting at the pools. Sorry, yeah, bad English, Chinglish, but just Danish instead of Chinese.
I am the only one who's gonna get that.
Yeah.
I really don't get
I had to take it out there.
I'll have to go back to that area at some point. I haven't been for years. I haven't been to Austria for a while.
I've been skiing exactly once with school in 8th class. In 8th grade, they actually take you skiing. I was in Austria as well, but somewhere else.
For 2 seconds.
Let me think. Hinterglemm, I think.
Hinterglemm. Saalbeck Hinterglemm.
Yes.
Yeah.
But did you manage to not fall down within 2 seconds, like I would most likely?
I fell down most of the time, but back then my knee wasn't as fucked, and I only weighed 30% of what I weigh now, so it wasn't that big of a problem.
Okay, what are they doing in the live chat now? We're talking about GPS and DAB.
Anyway, guys, I am literally so tired now, so I'm gonna head off. Nice talking to you guys.
How can you be tired? How can you be tired? Were you? Have you slept since? Let's see. 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday.
I've been up since literally 5 a.m. this morning because I had to go to work.
That's nothing. I was up for about 10 hours before. Veterans Talk Weekly, and I haven't slept since. So it's way more than 24 hours.
Yeah, but you're Danish, so you're automatically superhuman.
Bloody hell, Bo.
That's true. Yeah, and I'm ginger, and
that's
Viking
love. You're not really ginger. Like you have slightly reddish hair.
Anyway, it's been great talking to you guys. I'll see you later on.
See you. Thanks for joining, man.
You're more like a dirty, slightly reddish blonde.
Well, let me say this one then. When I was a kid, it was mailbox red. But hey, if you look at my the curly hair, in other words, the hair under my armpits. Not that I'm inviting you, but or my crush hair or my ass coat, you will see that I have red hair.
Do you know which country? Do you know which country has more red-haired people than any other country?
Yes,
it's in the northern country. One of the northern countries.
It's Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland has the most red-headed people, but Ireland has the most people who carry the genetics for red hair.
But why would it be Scotland? I mean, it is a genetic deficiency. Or an anomaly, or whatever you want to.
That's not a thing. We don't talk about genetics like that in biology. Also, red hair is a bit more complicated than just one thing. Actually, there's recently been some developments in how we understand the understanding of the genetics of red hair, which is quite interesting because they involve one gene. I see if I remember this correctly. They involve one gene, you can't necessarily predict it based on just looking at the single genes. You have to look at how they interact to figure out what the phenotype will be based on them.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, there is a correlation. I don't know about percentages and statistics, but there is a correlation between a person having red hair and the ability to what would you call it? Endure pain.
Yes. No, which not endure pain. Well, there is some, but red-headed people have statistically need more anesthetics. Higher amounts of anesthetics.
Yeah, and I suffer from that. So yeah, I can attest to that. And also, you have the issue of being less susceptible. Oh yeah, horrible at getting sunburn. I mean, when I was a kid, just
that's because
20 minutes. 20 minutes during the summer, I'm done. I'm cooked. But also, cold temperatures doesn't faze me at all. And many of the people that I know who are red-haired, who has red hair, has the same advantage.
Yes.
Although it's not the body being more better at coping temperature, as I understand it. It's just not reacting negatively, consciously to it. You're still just as susceptible as most other people.
Yeah, because on
the outside at least.
I mean, the sun thing has to do with like red hair being associated. Like the reason you can end up with red hair is so you basically the only pigment humans have is melanin, but melanin comes in 3 forms: eumelanin, eumelanin, pheomelanin, and neuromelanin. As the name suggests, neuromelanin is only found in the brain, where it's used as a storage, because a lot of the some of your neurotransmitters are derivatives of it, and so it's stored like it. The other eumelanin is what we normally think of as melanin. That's the brown one. Whereas pheomelanin, really hard word to say, is the red one. So
pheo or thio?
PHEO melanin.
Pheo, okay.
Pheo. So that. And if anyone is wondering how the fuck blue eyes comes about, or green
I have
eyes,
those too, of course.
blue eyes and green eyes are not pigment colors; they're structural colors based on how your the structure of the fibers are in your iris. So
here's a biology. I have a biology question after this, by the way.
So weirdly enough, green eyes are actually green in eyes are actually the in between blue and brown, even though that doesn't really make traditional sense in colors.
Yeah,
so a brown colored eye actually has a brown color in there somewhere, whereas the other ones are not colored. They're just
they are colored, but they're colored in the same way that like a lot of like blue birds aren't actually blue.
Yes, using refraction. Yeah, etc.
Yeah, it's a structural color.
Right, I see. All right, okay, got you.
Well,
that's also why human albino, people with albino, I can't say the word.
Albinos
don't actually have red eyes.
Albinos.
They don't actually have red eyes in humans. They have blue eyes.
All right.
But here's a question though. In terms of eye color, both in humans and other animals, does the eye color itself, have any advantage?
Yes,
one color over the other. In humans as well?
Yes. The thing is, there's a reason why you. So let's start out with, originally all humans were in Africa. We were all black, and we all had brown eyes.
Dark brown. Yeah.
Yes. Which it works like in your skin. It works like sunscreen. But in your eyes, it works like sunglasses. It prevents you from being blinded because it allows less light into your eyes.
Yeah, it absorbs more light.
Yes.
Also heating up the eyeball.
Well, actually, no. The black color of your skin actually helps you cool down because it radiates more heat away.
Yeah, but it also hold on.
But not while you're in the hot.
Yeah, but a black color also absorbs more heat.
Yes, but it also helps you irradiate more colors from from your own body heat.
Though, when we're talking about satellites that has radioisotope power generators, they use black radiators to to create a differential between hot and cold, and I think they actually use Peltier.
Yes, they do. They use Peltier devices.
Yeah.
There's currently a development going on where they try to use Stirling engines actually to use them because they're actually much more efficient. They're much more efficient than Peltier devices. You can reach efficiencies of up to 25% with those.
So
what I'm getting to here, if a satellite is rather close to the sun, and they have that a black colored radiators, not because of their radioisotope, because they're close enough to the sun. If the radiator is facing the sun, it cannot get rid of that heat from that radiator because it continues to absorb the heat from the sun. It has to face away from it. The same issue is for the eyes as well.
No, because the satellite doesn't generate its own heat. Anyways, that's not the point here. The point is that blue eyes, on the other hand, allows more light into your eye. So it actually offers a slight advantage in the northern latitudes because it allows you to get more light into your eye during like dawn and dusk, which meant that you could hunt more efficiently. You had more time to hunt.
Obviously, that does not make any sense at all. That light is not collimated. That's what our lens is for.
Yeah,
collimated.
Because you're implying that the light is going through the pupil. The pupil.
Yeah.
But it's not focused though, is it?
Well, no, it's gonna hit the lens no matter what. Your lens isn't just behind your pupil.
Yes,
we're not taking up the whole eye.
Yeah, so most of the bending of light actually occurs not in the lens, but actually in your
it starts with the cornea, right?
Yeah, the cornea. Yeah, exactly.
The cornea doesn't really do a whole lot of focusing. It's mainly your lens.
Fair enough.
No, it's not. No. Most of the bending of the light in your eye occurs between the cornea level, and the lens is a minor adjustment.
Well, I mean, no matter where
refraction, maybe, but not.
Also, I want to point out that your cornea covers the whole of your eye, not just the pupil. So
correct.
That doesn't really matter.
But the colored part of your eye, when we say you have blue eyes, the blue part of your eyes, you cannot focus the light that comes through that part of the eye.
But surely, Micro, if it's coming through a structure like that's clearly designed to be sort of opaque, it's going to be, you don't really want light coming in and being bouncing around and not being focused because it's going to blur.
No,
that's what I'm thinking too.
Okay, so you're still how do I explain them? You still get some some of it is obviously gonna get scattered around and sort of, but because you lack the pigment, you will actually get a small amount of light through the iris.
Right, but surely any light that's coming, you wouldn't want light to come through the pupil part because
you want light to come
through the iris. So I meant the iris. So I meant the iris part. Sorry, you wouldn't want any light to come through the iris part because that's going to be blurred and it's going to be multiple. You want only light to land on your retina that's been very carefully focused by your unique path through the lens and the.
Look out the anatomy of the eye and tell me where the lens is.
Well, the lens is the bit just behind the iris, isn't it?
Yes, but look up where how big the lens actually is, because it will get focused.
Yes. Okay. Yes, but hold on though. Okay. It might get focused once it's come through the iris, but if it's had to go through some sort of complex path through the iris, it's going to be bouncing all over the shop, and it's going to have its direction change. And you do not want randomly directed light being focused because it's not going to represent where it's going to match where it came from exactly.
Yeah, that's even worse than a very wide aperture. you just get more light, but you get a lot of blur in there as well.
It's like having a bathroom window, which has been deliberately made to be translucent, but you lose the focus of it because it's all bouncing around internally in the glass. You do not want something that you want a straightforward light path. And if it's going through this structure, it seems to me that it's going to be bouncing around in there randomly, and you're not going to want any light that falling on your retina, blurring or confusing the nice, lovely image that's gone just through the pupil and not through the iris. I mean, you're saying that it's useful to the eye to have light coming through the iris. That seems really weird to me. It's kind of a complicated passage. It's not going to reflect a straight line to the source of the object.
I mean, we also see it in reindeer, so I'm pretty sure it holds true in humans as well. Like Arctic reindeer will change color in the summer. Their eyes are brown, and in the winter they're blue.
Right.
For the same reason.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay, we'll have to think about. Well, okay, we'll have to go away and think about this one, Micro. But that seems really weird to me.
Yeah, this is oddly intriguing, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. There have been studies. Obviously, these days it doesn't matter because when you go down to shops, they don't turn off the light. So,
I mean, this sounds like a subject for the science of on Scientist Mel's channel. Actually.
Yeah, actually,
I will suggest it for. Well, not exactly suggest it, just tell her, and she'll do it. To be honest, because it's me and all.
Yeah. But as I say, most of the people think the lens does most of the focusing. No, it isn't. It's actually the cornea that does most of the focusing because the refractive index.
It cannot focus. You cannot change the Brennpunkt.
The refractive index. Well, the thing is, the refractive index of the lens is you can only remember if the lens had the same refractive index as the material surrounding, you would not be able to do anything. There's a very slight difference between the refractive index of the lens and the aqueous, whatever the other bits of the liquid. Whereas there's a big difference between the cornea and the air. So
yeah, are you talking about the same reason why you can't focus if you're diving and not have goggles on? Is that what you're saying there?
So I missed the start of that. Sorry.
Okay, if you're diving somewhere, in salt water, and you have your eyes open without goggles.
Yes, that's right.
If you don't have special contact lenses that are basically just clear, a clear polymer for the sole purpose of trapping air in front of your eyes, have trouble focusing.
You're right that the cornea does the majority. You are actually right that the majority of of focusing comes from the cornea, but the focusing you actually depend on to actually make it a clear picture.
The final bit,
the cornea is all over your eye.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I completely.
So it doesn't matter whether or not the light enters through goes cornea to pupil or if it goes cornea to iris.
Right, yeah. The thing that's worrying me is that this iris is clearly not transparent, and therefore any light passing through it is going to be.
It's not transparent, but it is slightly transparent.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Is that?
But it's clearly not some lovely transparent sort of. We're going to preserve the straight line.
But that doesn't matter. As long as you can get a bit more light in.
But it's got to be, but it can't be random light that's just coming from all sorts of directions, which will happen if it's been bouncing around.
It's not random light. But remember, keep in mind that you have the most complex computer known to in existence. Processing the image afterwards.
Sorry, Micro, you can't cope with blurriness. You can't remove that. That's why when people get blurry eyes, they can't correct that.
I'm not saying to remove blurriness.
And no, we're not talking about immacular eyes.
And it's random as well, Micro. Light passing through that would be random. And you can't fix randomness. So however clever you are.
Random. If you get light, if there's something moves to the right of you, the light from that is gonna go to the left side of your eye. It doesn't matter if it's random or not, but when it actually hits and gets scatters, it's still gonna mostly be in the left side of your eye.
For the light to have any usefulness, it has to go in a straight line through whatever it's going through. And if it's going through that iris, it has to. Otherwise, you won't. It's just blurring. Otherwise, it's blurring.
There are plenty of
time out. I'm trying to do some research here. When
we have
when
to
you're
be
going
quiet while
from
you're
somewhere,
doing that.
there's I know. When you're going from a room that has a lot of light, and you go outside in the night, and you have to wait, half an hour to get, to get your eyes acclimated to the low light level. What do you call that? Night vision?
Yeah.
Is that the proper correct English word?
Acclimatize,
It is the same as the Danish word.
You switch to rods rather than cones.
Yeah, but it's just the normal word. It's just night vision. Okay, cool.
Yes, or it takes time for your eyes to adjust, is what we tend to say in English to the low.
Yeah, I'm just trying to research some blue-eyed versus brown-eyed people and night vision.
But most of that, I think, the reason you can see it takes you so long is I think it takes a long time for the retina and the rods inside the retina to actually go into a different mode of operation.
No, that's fast. It's the rods.
No. I can tell you exactly why it happens.
Okay.
It has to do cones, which is what you use to see color light,
cone heads,
are actually not aren't all that sensitive. What they are good at, although, is replacing the retinol, which is so every time a photon hits. Every time a photon hits an opsin, which is the class of proteins that you actually use to see with, they catch the photon. Inside the opsin, there's a vitamin A derived compound called retinol. That retinol is changed to a different isomer, which is what initiates the signal. But that retinol then has to be plucked out and replaced by a new one, because the eye can't change it back.
Yeah.
In the opsins you have in cones are really good at doing that, but they're crap. They need multiple photons to actually get enough energy to do the isomerization.
Do what now?
Sorry, Michael. I thought you were explaining why it took 20 minutes to accommodate to dark.
Yes, I am. So those are what you used to see because they need multiple photons. They crap in low light conditions. You don't use them in low light conditions. What you use in low light conditions are rods. But the thing is, the ones in rods, while they're really, really sensitive, you can detect a single photon with them. They're kind of crap at replacing the retinol in the opsins.
Yep.
So when you go from very bright in a very bright environment, they're pretty much bleached. You can't, they don't have the retinol isn't replaced. You don't get a signal from them.
Yeah.
So once you go from light into dark, you have to wait for them to start get the retinol replaced.
Yeah,
that's why it takes so long.
Right, that's what I was describing. I said,
but I know this stuff, so I wanted to give the long.
Right, but you said I was wrong, and I think what I described.
Well, you're kind of wrong in the way you phrased it, but whatever.
Okay, well, yes, because basically, so it takes 20 minutes to accumulate all that light sensitive, that retinol you described. Yes, I knew it was a chemical that had to build up concentration that was removed by bright light. So yes, it takes some 20 minutes or whatever to get the maximum concentration that the rods need to use it, so you can detect a single photon, which is just incredible. Now, where were we going with this?
Brown eyes, blue eyes.
Yes, but the point is, you certainly do not want anything. Your vision is not improved just by adding in some random light, which will be the result of being bounced around in the iris. Although I do accept if the reindeer are changing their flipping eyes to blue for some reason in lower light thing, there must be some reason they're doing it. And okay, but it sounds a bit worse, but it can't be. And I accept that the lens is behind the iris. It does sound wrong, and I accept the lens is behind the iris. So any light that does go through the iris will indeed be focused by the lens. But the point is, it'll be bounced around inside the iris in random directions. There's no way that the brain can work out what happens in the random bouncing around inside the iris.
Well, think of it this way. You don't actually have to form a complete picture. Most of your eyes retina isn't there to form a picture. It's just there to take light. So, no, seriously, most of your eye isn't there to form something that's most of your retina doesn't really form anything that it's a remotely clear picture. It's only really there.
That's only a resolution issue. It still knows where it comes up the eye.
Well, you have to also remember we have an awesome GPU inside of our skull too.
Yes. It's also how
that's basically it as well. Huh?
Like all the color vision you see in your peripheral vision, that's added on later. That's not actually there.
It's not coming from cones.
No, you don't you have a very, very low density of cones in your peripheral vision.
That's different from none.
No, it's so low that the color of information you have there is
right. So you're saying that the color vision, what color we do see at the peripheral vision, is not just a result of the small density of cones, but somehow it's been added on by post-processing.
Yes, because your brain knows what color things are supposed to be.
Which is the same reason why when we see yellow and blue mixed together, we see green instead of yellow and blue.
No, it's not. It's not yellow. It's red and red and green, which at the same time results in yellow. That's actually how computer screens work.
Yeah, that's not what I said.
Additive mixing instead of subtractive mixing.
Exactly. Yeah. If you take a spinning top or a yo-yo and paint half of it yellow, half of it blue, and you spin it, you see green, and not yellow and blue.
Oh yeah, okay, that's different because there's a difference between additive and
and this is as I remember it, that is a pseudo mix of additive versus additive and subtractive color mixing, because it isn't really either, and it isn't both at the same time.
Vision is weird.
It is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for instance, the color magenta is actually not actually a single color. It's actually
what actually what happens there is that your brain, because it's a linear spectrum, but your brain thinks there has to be a mix between something in between red and blue, so it invents a color to be in between them.
Yeah.
But then again, apart from the three primary colors being red, blue, and green, you have the secondary colors, which is cyan, magenta, and yellow. Magenta is a color. If you mix two of the primary colors, 50-50, you get one of the secondary, and vice versa.
No, magenta is different to the other two.
By the way. Yeah, but still, if you, I can't remember that, but if you mix, 50% magenta and 50% cyan, you get one of the primary colors. If you mix magenta and yellow, you get one of the other primary colors.
No, there's something special.
And it's, I'm not sure if when you do it subtractive, but when you add it, it is. That is the case. There are some odd differences when you do the additive versus the subtractive.
Yeah, that's right. That's
weird.
Yes, I've forgotten. There's something special about magenta in terms of the additive partner.
Yeah, because it's not actually. The other additive colors have and actually you can go in and find a wavelength that is correct. That corresponds to.
You can't do that with magenta. Yeah,
and also a huge mystery for animators for decades, if not centuries. And I believe it was Disney that finally found out how you can get the color profile for gold when making animations, but they couldn't figure out how to reproduce it. They finally did. Probably also because not just because of the random what do you call it? Random differences in hue and saturation.
Yeah.
In different areas of that object that's supposed to be gold, but also the mixing of colors that's a bitch, to be literal. Also, you have the added a disadvantage of no two people see the same color the same way.
Yeah, well, that post-processing lark. Yes, I mean those famous.
Not even processing. Simply the fact that, as demonstrated by different myself, the exact genes you have coding for the options will also change it.
They'll change the sensitivity of the cones in particular frequencies.
Yeah, and actually, just like a video camera and a still camera, a digital ones, you have manual white balance and automatic white balance. Your eyes also have that. If you're in the sun during the summer, and you have your eyes closed, but your eyes are pointed directly at the sun, for a couple minutes, and then you stand up and you open your eyes. Everything is green and bluish,
right, that's good, green,
because because your eyes just try to reset the colors. That's why in theaters between scenes they do a fade to black to make a sort of reset on the audience's eyes in terms of color.
Yeah, it's a bit going to the bleaching thing that Micro was talking about earlier. Whereas
no, that's not the bleaching thing. That's literally your brain again having like an expectation of what color things should be and correcting for it.
Oh no,
it's not also the cones.
No,
it's not that like the switch between just having a like fade to black is not. It's not nearly fast enough to do that.
I mean, I think
no fade to black. If it's supposed to be efficient, it has to be a lot longer. But they do it's a compromise.
Yes, it gives you something. Yeah, I think
it has some effect, but I think it's mainly that like your brain, the processing.
Now, hold on. So, Michael, you're claiming there's not a physiological cause then when you look, for instance, there are some examples on YouTube and things of seeing a particular, something, I think Jesus or something in black, and then you can look at it for a long time, for say about 30 seconds, and then they change the color, and then you see those bits that you were looking at Jesus shape would then appear in green on other things. You're saying that's a post-processing and not a physiological thing.
I mean, post-processing is physiological.
No, I think...
It's the Are you saying the brain isn't physiological?
Well, yeah, but there's a
chemical.
But there's a coding there. There's a sort of how it could just try to interpret what's going on. Whereas I think this is purely in other words, this is happening in the cones, or is it happening in the brain? I think it's happening in the cones.
It's
you're
probably
both right. It's just the way it's presented.
Probably both, but I think I'm fairly confident that your cones and rods won't be able to change fast enough for them to play a major role. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And just take one of these optical.
If you look at some of these images, the classic is when you can make it appear green as a result of what's going on in your cones, not in your brain. I'm reasonably sure this is the case.
Well, for example, the optical illusion, you can find it on YouTube, of course, because YouTube is the Flat Earthers, research center of choice, and other sensible people. And sensible people. If you find these, I think I'm not sure if it's a cyan or just a slightly bluish background, and then you have what is it? Is it lime, almost primary green?
Yes, it's green.
Discs in a big circle.
Yeah.
And what the example is that. The one disc disappears, and then quickly it comes back, and then the one next to it in a clockwise direction disappears, and so on and so forth. If that happens fast enough, you almost, first of all, think that that there is a magenta disc there, and and it's moving clockwise, but it's actually just blinking discs and not moving discs, and there is nothing magenta there. It's just a greenish disc that's disappearing for a moment and coming back.
Someone here is saying the neural network that is the retina is much more than just rods and cones. He's saying that the retina is doing quite a lot of work as well.
Yes, there is a lot of your eyes, your retina, and basically your eyes are technically from a biological
part of the brain.
Brain, and a lot of the processing already happens in the retina.
Yeah, and one of the wacky things is it's moving around all the time. It's actually jiggling very slightly
because of the bleaching, because you have to re-stimulate them, and in people who are where the eye muscles responsible for that, or the neural circuitry responsible for that, are destroyed, what you end up with is they will compensate by moving their head. They will do it by their neck.
Bloody hell.
That's an actual thing.
Come again? I missed that completely.
Because the frequency is quite high, isn't it? The frequency of the jiggling is quite high.
fuck, I can't remember what they call it. It's something with M. So you have very small movement in your eyes all the time.
Yeah, micro movements or
expose new parts of the retina.
Yeah.
And in people who lack that ability for whatever reason, they will compensate it usually by moving their entire head. They will do it by the neck. They will That's how the brain will compensate for it.
Isn't it just called jitter?
No, it has an actual name that starts with M.
Movement.
No, fuck. This is annoying.
No, I do remember
and it's not tweaking.
No, I do remember, Micro, you had one fascinating thing, I think, in one previous session on Geo's channel here, when we were describing, you mentioned something like the moonlight and saying how much you could potentially heat up. And I thought that if you had enough moonlight, you could actually get to a high temperature. And I must admit, I looked up and indeed it doesn't.
Yeah, you can't start fires with moonlight because you can only ever weirdly it's very counterintuitive.
It is.
Only ever
if you have a fuck ton of money and a lot of mirrors.
No, you can't. You can never you can never make you can never focus the light from coming from a surface onto a point. If you do that, you can never make that point hotter than the temperature of the object,
which is really weird.
That it is bouncing from.
That it's coming from.
Even if you concentrate like this, it was something like
it's really fucking counterintuitive.
It's bloody. I couldn't believe when Micro mentioned this. Like I thought,
hold on. The moon's surface compared to a mirror, I know that the moon has quite a decent libido.
Libido? You mean albedo?
Albedo. Yeah.
That's what I said.
No, it doesn't. It has a terrible albedo. Only 10%.
Yeah. But
less than 10%, actually. I think.
Basically, but it does bounce a lot of light because the sun is bright as hell. What I'm trying to get to is maybe you cannot do it with the moon, the so-called moonlight, because it's apparently generating its own light. But imagine, it's just a thought experiment, if the moon was instead a big ass mirror. It would be possible, right? I mean, we could agree on that.
Reflecting other light. The fact that it's re-radiating stuff at the whatever, or reflecting. Yeah, it's a good
reflecting.
Yes,
the only reason why you can see an object is not because that it's giving off light. It's because that light is bouncing off it, and the surface absorbs some of it and reflects some of it.
Yes, you also see the light that it's giving off as well. It can give off light, but usually that's in the infrared, of course, I suppose.
Okay, I got the name of the small movements. Microsaccades.
Saccade.
SACCADE.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Never heard that before.
At least it doesn't sound Latin. It probably is.
Yeah, hey, but I'm still a bit suspicious. Like, I still think it's happening in the cones or possibly part of the retina. This business about superimposing things like images of Jesus and making them look and taking 20 seconds to get rid of them. I don't think that's a post-processing thing.
It's probably both. Like it's most optical illusions do majorly involve your brain.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the optical illusions. Yes.
Which what it is? It is an optical illusion.
Admittedly, it is an optical illusion, but there's a particular sort of optical illusion where you're getting a color thing for 20 seconds. This is a temporary thing. It only lasts something like 20 seconds or 15 seconds. When you look at a green thing and then a shape of black thing, and then you look at you then change what you're looking at. You then see I say the example I remember is just Jesus image of one on it becomes green over whatever you're looking at, and that's the result of a physiological low-level chemical issue rather than a processing issue.
I remember a Donald Duck code book. No, the Donald Duck magazine. What do you call it? Anasanbo. With one of those code books I had as a child that had these. You can make coded messages by using a square, what do you call it? Yeah, squared system. And the way you decode it is by staring at, the first picture that you made yourself with a magic marker or something. You have to stare at it, for 30 seconds, and then quickly stare at the other one, and you'll be able to see the full message. Because the image of the first thing that you stared at is retained, but is it retained in the brain or in the eye?
Well, I think it's in the eye, but
the retention of those are in the eye. That has to do with the fact that you expose.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing I'm talking about, Micro. That's the thing I'm talking about with these images of Jesus and things for the last 20, 15 seconds.
Oh, okay. Now I understand what you're talking about. I wasn't very clear. Yes. Yeah, okay. Now it makes sense. I thought you were talking about okay.
I wasn't very clear. It's okay, Mike. I wasn't very clear. I agree with you.
I posted both in the internal and external chat. I posted a link to a video that has a mimetic hazard in it, where if you stare at this thing, it can change how you see the world for months.
Yeah. What? Okay, I want to test this right now.
Stare into the abyss.
I just want to point out that.
Is it this video? Michael?
Yes, this video.
Stop, guys! Stop. What do I have to do?
Watch the video and find out.
Yay!
It's only 2 minutes.
This can hurt you just by looking at them.
Yes.
Things that can hurt you just by looking at them.
Did you say for a month, Micro?
Yes, for a month.
Bloody hell.
Okay, wait a second.
Right, but just like I say, Robert Sass is saying the most impactful optical illusions are caused by the retina. We've got guy in chat making lots of comments about it. He seems to know a lot about this.
But apparently this video has a twist to it. Inside Walt Disney World, home of the most terrible earworm known to humanity, I don't know why that's in there, I talk about the McCullough effect.
You know, the earworm he's referring to is it's a small world. That's the joke there. That's the reference.
I thought he was talking about Baby Shark.
No, inside Disneyland.
Well, Walt Disneyland. Yeah.
Right. So let's say it's right, Mike. This link you've put in the chat, the group, the top top chat is this thing with a Walt Disney thing. Is a thing that can affect your image, your
potentially affect your vision for months if you stare at it.
And Wikipedia, just the headline. The McCullough effect is a phenomenon of human visual perception in which colorless gratings appear colored contingent on the orientation of the gratings. It's an after effect requiring a period of induction to produce it. Okay.
Bloody hell! I'm not sure I want to have my vision affected for a month. If that really does.
Hey.
Okay. I'm right now. I'm trying this.
Oh my god!
Is this the? Hey, this is kind of Polaroid pattern. So can you make your own? Yeah, you can make your own Polaroid sunglasses effect on your eyes, so you can stare at the sun for minutes without getting hurt or something. Which flat earthers had that thing going for a while? Saying you could totally stare at the sun for minutes on end.
Yeah, remember that the president of the United States did something similar recently.
Well, it's the carrot man, so yeah.
Pumpkin man, get it right. Or Cheetos would be the correct one.
Okay, I noticed that both panels seem to change in color to yellow. Is that supposed to happen?
Black and yellow. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go get something to eat, so I will catch you gents later.
Yeah, I need to eat as well.
Okay, then I think we're just gonna end it here. What do you think? We're already
live. We have to damage your.
That is scary. That McCullough effect is scary.
Yes, it is. It's fucking freaky. That's what there are two things that I'm kind of afraid to do in this world. One of them is stare at that image for too long. The other one is touch the top of a baby's head.
What?
Because I don't want to poke them in the brain.
Oh, right. Okay.
That scares them. That scares the heck out.
That's because you've had a Jello, brain can for a long time.
I don't when if someone hands me a baby, I'm not deliberately gonna touch it. Obviously, I'm not that big of a weirdo. But I don't like holding a baby, not because I'm afraid I will drop it, but because I know that they have a hole into their brain.
And now I'm picturing Micro.
I really don't like holding babies for that reason.
I can't help imagining, microorganism by accident crashing a what do you call it, a baby shower, but after the baby is born, and he just somebody just hands him a baby and he just goes get it off in a panic. I want to see that in the video. Yeah, I'm a freak. I know.
WF6I. Yes, I know that it's protected by a membrane that's tougher than leather. Like, I know it's completely irrational. It's completely irrational for me to have this fear. Like, it's not like you hear about babies dying from this all the time. But ever since I found it out, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, is it an so-called official phobia? And what is it called?
I don't think it's an official phobia.
Hang on, it is a borderline rational fear, because otherwise, how can you explain the occurrence of people like twats in there?
Yeah. For example, Daniel Craig.
Twatson could be a genetic error.
No, that's called. I mean, doing meth and LSD during pregnancy.
Yeah,
so Gio, don't stare at that thing for too long. We don't really.
It's only going to affect him.
And the meth addict's decision of giving birth while standing up on a platform.
What?
It's called bungee jump birthing, where you jump out from in a slightly stiffer than normal bungee cord, and when you hit the end, the baby continues out.
It's a bet made by a sadistic asshole, and the bet is made to the meth junkhead. Well, are you high enough for the baby to fall but not hit the ground? If it doesn't hit the ground, you win this pill.
Wait, high enough as in actual physical height, or as in metaphorical height? Because meth addict.
Yeah, no. You have to stand you have to stand as high as you want to be, but it has to be close enough to the ground so it'll actually touch the ground with its feet, but not its head. And if you win, you get a bag of meth.
Right. Okay. I think this conversation's taken a turn for the worse.
Yeah. It's an offshoot of the South Park episode where they where they find out they can make money of crack babies.
Oh yeah,
for food
that was
or something.
A good one.
Too bad they didn't come up with that retarded idea. Insane idea, sorry.
By the way, I'm still staring at this thing.
Oh, Gio, don't.
It doesn't necessarily work on everyone.
Yeah, but just do it. Have a small go with it, Gio. Don't do.
Gio, do you have your computer connected to a UPS?
UPS?
Yeah.
Uninterruptible power supply.
Yeah.
Okay, we call them USBs over here. No, I don't.
Okay, we need to get the phone number of your. Well, I can look you up. Just one of your neighbors, look you up, and then find out if your neighbor can, turn off your power by force, just to make sure you don't die from starvation.
I mean, considering that Gio is used to staring at computer screens, and that he also wears glasses and stuff, I'm gonna hazard a guess and say he's probably I don't think he's in the high risk group.
Well, he's broken his knees doing that already, so.
Also, it will take some time for me to starve. Just saying.
Yeah, and that's the.
It's also not like this. This isn't gonna permanent. It's not gonna make him unable to function in his day-to-day life. It's just gonna be weird.
Well, not physically, perhaps, but.
Yeah. I mean,
mentally.
For fuck's sake, you can if you get a pair of glasses that turn your vision upside down.
Oh yeah.
The upside down glasses.
Yeah, and wear that for a few weeks. Your brain will compensate for that.
I think it's even a few weeks. I think it's even just a week. I think does it?
It's not very long. Your brain will compensate for that and turn the picture on the right side up, which means that once you take the glasses off, the world suddenly is upside down.
And it takes you a week to recover.
No, it's actually correct. But I don't remember which YouTuber it was, but I remember a YouTuber getting a bike mechanic to make a bike
That's smarter every day.
that's okay. Yeah, smart every day. That turns the wheel. The front wheel the opposite in the opposite direction when you pull the
Oh no!
He actually got.
And it took him a long time to learn it.
Yes, and once he actually learned it, he could no longer ride a normal bike. Like he had problems like doing
serious problems. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop right now. So far, I didn't notice any difference, so I think it's not working.
Or you need to relax first, maybe. But no, that kind of bike, I would pay money to try that out.
To be fair, like I wouldn't mind having it because like your bike is unlikely to get stolen because the moment someone tries to ride it, they go, "What the fuck is going on?" and then just leave it.
They'll steal it, but you'll find it.
They'll abuse it after that.
Just away from where they tried to ride it.
Yeah, and you'll never get the request from any of your friends to borrow your bike. Well, except for the for the fun of it, but not to actually borrow it.
For some reason, I can't type anymore. Mac.
Okay,
see, it's
rotate the keyboard 90 degrees.
Okay. This is the last time you'll be able to do anything.
I mean, my color side is fucked anyways.
Wait a minute. Hey, Gil, are you saying that you're actually typing as badly as Danes are at speaking?
I hereby challenge you to a type race.
Okay.
Nope, I will fail instantly.
I challenge you to what's it called? The colorblind test. With the dots.
Okay.
Sahara.
Okay. You play it on your screen, and I will tell you the results.
Yes, because
but seriously, if I can get my oldest brother to compete with you, Gil, I imagine that he will win. He can write. He can type faster than I can speak.
Wait a second. I'm supposed to look at the images after one another, apparently, not simultaneously.
Yeah. And by the way, I just saw that Radical has a video on. Hang on, Siri thinks I'm talking to her. It's a live stream this time, not a premiere.
Gio, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. You say what you see first, and we'll click that out.
Wait a second. I actually need to transfer it first to my best monitor in terms of colors.
And I will tell you what I see.
Okay.
Do you see what I see? Can I cut? Yeah. Two.
Okay, I also see it too.
Oh, you can't see.
One.
Don't look at the keypad, number pad. Sorry.
One, and I also see a one. So the number we're gonna go from the answers we're gonna go with my answers because we know you have normal vision.
Okay.
And I don't know slightly. 7. Yeah.
I also see a 7, but only barely.
8.
8.
Yes,
and
again.
my monitor has been calibrated.
My monitor is a TN piece of shit for color vision, but whatever, it works anyway.
I also see an 8, but it's very. It's only just there.
7.
Again, I see a 7, but it's only just there.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, I don't see it at all.
No, I see a weird shape 2, maybe.
I don't see the 2.
A white hook.
3.
Yes, I can.
I have no clue.
You can make out the 3.
No clue with that one. Yeah.
8.
8.
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't see shit.
It's pinkish magenta. 6.
6.
Okay,
That's easy.
That one's easy.
Yeah, but the
9.
Again,
the trick is to have a monitor that is a IPS monitor.
9. I have a TN and it works fine for me. That's a 9. That's a clear 9 for me.
I can see the 9, but only because you said it. 4, yeah.
4.
Yeah, 4.
4. Back to the golf thing.
6.
6.
I can just make out the 6 there, yeah.
I like the Danish word for it better.
3.
Just make out the 3 there.
6.
6. Just by guessing.
Is there a 6?
Yeah, there is a 6.
Hey, say it in Danish. It's much more horny. 6.
7.
Actually, maybe I should say it first, just so I don't
I'm kind
get
of looking.
biased.
Yeah, I kind of want that to be a percentage sign or something. 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah, 6.
4.
I have no idea.
It would be cool to see other characters. That's easy. Other characters in there and
2.
instead of just numbers.
I don't see jack shit. I can see something, but like it doesn't look like a 2.
If you see spots,
8.
go to the doctor. 8.
I think that's a 1.
That's definitely a 1.
Not
9.
exactly Times New Roman, but
9, right?
Yeah, 9. Yeah,
Definitely a 9.
with a very, very small finger.
3.
That's supposed to be a 3.
Blank.
9 again.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
7.
a 7, but I can only barely see it.
It's quite clear for me.
Yeah, but not for me.
Okay, 1.
1.
That one I can see.
Well, hey, Micro, I have a.
I have no fucking idea.
That's a 1.
I have a small box of resistors that has a beige background, and then the color bands.
7.
And I cannot figure out what the color bands are.
I don't see jack. I can see that there's a slight color difference, but like it just looks like
7.
nothing to me. I can't see jack shit here.
Seriously? This is pretty much the clearest image we've had so far.
I mean,
Well, yeah, it's easier if those two colors were inverted. But yeah,
nope, I can't see jack shit.
That's a 1. Clear 1.
For
is
me,
there? Maybe.
5.
I think that's supposed to be a 5, but I'm really like struggling to see it. This is actually hurting my eyes.
Yeah. Are you seeing donkey balls? No. Wait, you're not. You're not reds.
3.
3.
Again,
A weird
this is
3.
hurting my eyes.
And by the way, I'm looking forward to getting glasses too.
I
So
suspect I'm a deuteran.
Deuteran and what? Huh? Deuteran?
So deuteran means it means that it's a form of green color blindness.
Ah.
What was the website again?
In Chroma, it's a company that sells those weird glasses, but the test is standardized. So the glasses don't actually work.
Okay, let me try this. Just
so
faking it.
Yeah. So and Micro, that means that we have the somewhat the same level of color blindness in terms of hues as well. The question is, I know that you can get. I'm pretty sure that I know you can get corrective glasses for
that's
mild. But can you do?
That's the company that took the test. Their website that we took the test on. That they sell those. They don't work. The glasses don't work.
7. 4.
So it's a scam.
3.
It's not a scam. It's just like when you actually when you actually show the
2.
The what's it called? When you actually test it, it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Or is it a matter of training your brain as well?
No,
well, that was hard.
Can't be, because you literally you literally don't get that the information.
Oh yeah, that's true. But hey, but then again, I mean, I imagine I could easily test this on my own here, because I have a box of color gel samples, for the stuff that you put in front of lamps for colors. I can just make my own mixes and try it out. But I have tried the yellow glasses to improve night vision or low light visibility. Doesn't work, but it does to some extent work when when you're driving in moderate fog. I have no idea why. So there must be something to it.
Okay, so regarding this McCulloch effect thing, I still see the vertical bars being slightly red and the horizontal bars being slightly greenish.
But I'll make sure to try that out tomorrow, because there's Regical is going on live in 20 minutes, and I yeah, I need to rest before that too.
So. Oh, apparently there's a similar effect when staring at monochrome CRT monitors from the 80s. Remember how they always looked like either amber or green colored?
Well, yeah, some of them were amber, yeah, or downright orange, but I always hated those. I preferred the green ones because they're milder on the eyes.
Yeah, apparently it fucked up people's eye vision in such a way that they couldn't longer look at the IBM logo without seeing weird color effects.
And also the terminal computer at my dad's workplace. He worked at a what do you call it? Box factory. You know, the boxes that you ship Lego kits in, for example.
Of course.
At the computer that controls the cutting machine, it was not a computer. It was actually just a terminal, and it was a central computer. It had those awful, what was it, 10 or 12 inch. Some of them, if you were lucky, were green monochrome, and they were ugly, and you could always see what this terminal was always used for, because you can see it without even turning the monitor on. You can see it without turning the monitor on. That's just freaky.
Okay.
I mean, when the tube is when the CRT is energized, I can see the burn in stuff. That's logical, but even before you turn it on, yeah, it's had a lot of hours on it. That's weird. All right, I better go.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Reset my brain.
Right here, even though there's still 53 people watching for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We've
Are you mesmerized?
For hours now. So
should we give the link to Ragical for his live stream in Ragical, the Unhallowed Night has a live stream on in over 15. He's a funny as hell Dutch guy.
Yes, he has a bigger accent than me.
Wait, did you just combine the words funny and Dutch?
They do exist.
Well, in this case, yeah.
Okay, well, anyway. So for 55 people watching for whatever reason, thank you very much for joining. Obviously, we went on a bunch of broad tangents today. But yeah, anyway, I think the topics we wanted to cover, we actually covered those. So I regard this stream as successful. So
it's better than listening to Multi-Tom-Tom's ramblings.
Yeah, well, it's not really a high bar, is it?
No.
Wait, was he live?
Getting cholera is better than that.
Okay, so yeah, I'm seriously getting a headache now. What the fuck?
That's what you get for fucking looking at him.
Could be worse.
Idiot. Hey, you were fooled by a Dane. What does that tell you?
Anyway, I mean, it could be
I thought it was the Germans that was devious.
Red face, for example, if then probably my eyes would be facing two completely different opposite directions at this point.
One last fun color eye thing fact. Viagra, one of the side effects of Viagra is tinting your vision blue.
Is what?
Tinting your vision blue because it affects your the eyes.
Really?
Yes, that's one of the.
Are you sure? Because the pills are usually blue. Is it not just a?
What this weird techno song from the 90s is about?
No. That one's about being depressed.
Oh.
Or possibly about the fluorofluorotherapy, which stains DNA.
Okay. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. See you guys next time. Oh, before we probably actually end. Do you guys want to say something about that? So you can, the good old Red's rhetoric way, say what you gotta say, and just
get the fuck out.
If you have a pack of bread, is it really a pack of bread, or is it just like a very tall bread sandwich on its side?
Aww.
Oh no! Terry Davis just joined in the side chat. Terry, I'm sorry.
Hey Terry, bye.
So yeah,
no, Terry.
Almost for us at this point. Yeah, so sorry for the bad timing. But anyway,
and
okay, guys.
if I should do my bits, if only Tornado Pelt was in here, I could have asked him what is half of infinity, and then take off my earphones because I don't want my ears blown out by him screaming.
Okay. So thanks for those finishing comments. See you guys next time.